Listen, chosen ones. This is not just another message. This is not for the masses. This is not for those who take God's voice lightly. This is for the remnant, the warriors, the ones who have been marked by the hand of God. This is for those who understand that when God speaks, it is no ordinary word. It is life. It is power. It is a force that shifts realities. When God speaks, He does not speak in vain. Every word He utters carries purpose, authority, and divine weight. His words carve destinies. They open doors that no man can shut. They bring deliverance to the captive, healing to the broken, and judgment to those who reject them. Maybe you have been living beneath your true power. Maybe you have walked through life as if you are just another person, weak, ordinary, afraid. But what if I told you the power you have been waiting for is already inside you? What if I told you that from the moment you gave your life to Christ, you were never meant to live in fear? You were never meant to be weak, powerless, or unsure. You were created to walk in dominion. You were designed to trample on serpents and scorpions, to cast out demons, to break chains, to shift atmospheres, to carry fire. But somewhere along the way, the enemy convinced you that you were powerless, that you were just another believer, another person in the crowd. He whispered lies into your ears, telling you that you are not enough, that you are too small, too broken, too unqualified. But today, those lies break, because God is saying, activate your power, now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you feel ready. It's now. Because here is the truth. The enemy is not waiting for you to be ready before he attacks. He is not waiting for you to feel strong before he launches his warfare against you. He is not waiting for you to understand your power before he moves against you. He has already declared war on you. The only question is, will you fight back? For too long, too many believers have been asleep, drifting through life as if they are powerless, waiting for a sign, waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for God to move when He has already given them everything they need. The battlefield of life is filled with warriors who have forgotten their strength, soldiers who have laid down their weapons, and chosen ones who are living as if they are ordinary. But the time for waiting is over. The time for silence is over. It is time to wake up. It is time to rise. Do you not realize who you are? Do you not understand what has been placed inside you? You were not created to live in fear. You were not designed to bow to the enemy's schemes. You were never meant to be weak, defeated, or unsure. The Spirit of the living God dwells within you, the same power that raised Jesus from the dead, the same power that split the Red Sea, the same power that made fire fall from heaven. That power is inside you, but power that is not activated remains dormant. A sword that is never wielded is useless in battle. A voice that is never raised cannot command authority. A warrior who refuses to fight is already defeated. And yet, so many chosen ones walk through life as if they have no dominion, as if they have no authority, as if the enemy is stronger than they are. But today, that deception is shattered. Today, the veil is torn. Today, the lie that tells you that you are weak, insignificant, or unqualified is destroyed. You have been chosen. You have been called. You have been anointed. The only question is, will you step into your power? Will you shake off the chains of doubt, fear, and hesitation? Will you rise as the warrior God created you to be? The enemy is not waiting to attack until you feel strong. He is not waiting for you to gain confidence before he moves against you. He has already declared war on you. The question is, will you fight back? Or will you continue to sit in fear, hoping for relief, waiting for someone else to step into the battle that is yours to fight? The time for hesitation is over. The time for passivity has come to an end. The kingdom of darkness is advancing, and heaven is calling for warriors to take their stand. Will you be one of them? It is time to wake up from spiritual slumber. It is time to stop making excuses. It is time to stop believing the lie that you are powerless. You have been given authority to use it. You have been given weapons to wield them. You have been given a divine assignment. Step into it. The world is waiting. The kingdom is calling. The enemy is trembling. The world has its own definition of power. It tells you that power is found in wealth, status, influence, and control. It teaches that power belongs to the rich, the famous, and those who hold political authority. It glorifies dominance, manipulation, and self-exaltation. But the power of this world is fleeting. It is fragile. It can be taken away in an instant. True power, the kind that cannot be shaken, the kind that transforms lives, the kind that moves mountains, is spiritual. It is not found in titles or possessions. It does not come from human effort. It is not built on connections or material gain. True power comes from God alone. Jesus made this clear when he spoke to his disciples. "Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." This is not just a comforting verse. It is a declaration of war. It is a divine reminder that the power we carry is not natural. It is supernatural. It did not originate from us. It was given to us by God himself. And this power is not weak or limited. Jesus did not say he gave us power over some of the enemy's schemes. He did not say we would have authority over a portion of the darkness. He said, "I give you power over all the power of the enemy." That means there is no demonic attack, no stronghold, no spiritual resistance that is greater than the authority Christ has given us. Yet why do so many believers live as though they are powerless? Why do those who have been called to reign in life walk around like victims? It is because power that is not activated remains dormant. You can be given a sword, but if you never wield it, you will still be defenseless. You can be given the keys to a kingdom, but if you never use them, you will still live like a slave. You can be crowned as royalty, but if you never step onto the throne, you will still live as a beggar. Many believers have been given divine power, but they are not walking in it. They have been handed spiritual authority, but they are not using it. The enemy is not stronger than them. He has simply convinced them that they are weak. But today, that deception is broken. The power of God is not just about performing miracles or casting out demons. It is about walking in divine authority in every area of life. It is the power to break generational curses. It is the power to shift atmospheres. It is the power to speak of life where there was once death, to bring healing where there was once pain, to release hope where there was once despair. It is the power to stand firm when everything around you is shaking. It is the power to trample over every attack of the enemy without fear. And this power is not reserved for a select few. It is not just for pastors, prophets, or church leaders. It is for every believer who chooses to walk in faith. But power must be activated. God will not force you to use the authority he has given you. He will not make you walk in your divine assignment. He has already provided everything you need. The question is, will you step into it? Will you stop waiting for power to come from the outside when God has already placed it within you? Will you rise up and use the weapons that heaven has given you? The enemy is not afraid of passive Christians. He is not threatened by those who simply believe in Jesus, but never act on his word. But the moment you recognize the power inside of you, the moment you choose to walk in the authority that Christ has given, everything changes. Darkness trembles. Chains break. The impossible becomes possible. So I ask you again, what is real power? It is not found in the world. It is not given by men. Real power comes from God. And if you are in Christ, that power is already inside you. If God has given us power, if he has declared that we have authority over all the power of the enemy, if he has assured us that nothing shall by any means hurt us, then why do so many believers live in fear? Why do those who have been chosen to reign walk through life feeling weak, afraid, and powerless? The answer is simple. Fear is a deception. It is the enemy's most effective weapon because it does not have to be real to control you. It only has to be believed. Fear is a lie whispered into your mind until you accept it as truth. It tells you that you are too weak to fight. It tells you that you are unqualified, unworthy, and incapable. It convinces you that stepping out in faith will lead to failure, that speaking with authority will bring rejection, that walking in power will invite too much opposition. Fear is not just an emotion. It is a strategy from the pits of hell designed to keep you bound. Because the moment you realize that the power inside you is greater than anything coming against you, the enemy loses control over your life. Many believers live in fear because they have forgotten who they are. They see themselves as small, as insignificant, as ordinary, when in reality, they are warriors. They have been given spiritual weapons, but they do not use them. They have been granted divine authority, but they do not exercise it. They have been crowned as sons and daughters of the Most High, but they still live as if they are slaves. The truth is, the enemy does not attack people who are weak. He attacks those who are dangerous. The reason you face so much spiritual warfare is not because you are powerless, but because you are powerful. The enemy sees your potential. He knows the damage you will cause to his kingdom the moment you step into your divine authority. And his greatest fear is that you will wake up and realize who you truly are. But today, fear is broken. The chains that have held you back are shattered. The lie that says you are not strong enough, not bold enough, not spiritual enough, it is destroyed. You were never meant to live in fear. You were created to walk in power, love, and a sound mind. It is time to silence the voice of fear. It is time to reject every lie the enemy has spoken over your life. It is time to stand firm in the authority that God has given you. Fear has held you back for too long. It has stolen your confidence, silenced your voice, and kept you from stepping into the fullness of your calling. But no more. The time for hesitation is over. The time for second guessing is done. You have been given power, and it is time to use it. The enemy is trembling because he knows that once you activate your authority, nothing will be able to stop you. Power is not something that simply exists within you, it must be activated. You can have access to electricity, but if you never flip the switch, you will remain in darkness. You can hold a sword, but if you never raise it, you will still be defenseless. Many believers have been given divine authority, yet they walk through life as if they have none, simply because they have not activated the power that God has already placed inside them. The question is not whether you have power. The question is whether you are using it. The first key to activating your power is faith. Faith is the foundation upon which all spiritual authority is built. If you do not believe you have power, you will never use it. The enemy knows this, which is why his first attack is always on your mind. He wants to convince you that you are weak, that you are ordinary, that you are incapable. But Jesus made it clear. These signs shall follow them that believe. Not those who wait, not those who doubt, those who believe. The moment you believe in the authority God has given you, fear loses its grip, and power begins to flow through you. The second key is prayer. Prayer is not just a religious ritual. It is a supernatural transaction. It is your direct access to heaven's power. A prayerless believer is a powerless believer. If you are not praying, you are sitting on your authority, allowing the enemy to advance unchecked. Every great move of God in Scripture began with prayer. Before Jesus performed miracles, he prayed. Before the Holy Spirit descended at Pentecost, the disciples prayed. Before Paul and Silas broke free from prison, they prayed. Prayer is not just communication with God. It is the battlefield where power is released. If you want to walk in authority, you must commit yourself to a life of prayer. The third key is obedience. Power follows obedience. Many believers are waiting for power to manifest before they move, but God is waiting for them to move before he releases power. When Moses stretched out his staff, the Red Sea parted. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he walked on water. When the Israelites marched around Jericho, the walls fell. Power does not fall from the sky. It is activated when you step into it. If God tells you to move, move. If he tells you to speak, speak. If he tells you to take a step of faith, take it. Fear says, wait until you feel ready. Faith says, move, and God will show his power. The power of God is already inside you. You do not need to beg for it. You do not need to wait for a special moment to receive it. It has already been given. The only question is, will you activate it? Will you flip the switch, pick up your weapons, and walk in the authority that is already yours? The enemy is hoping you stay passive. He wants you to remain silent. He wants you to doubt. But today, you break free. Today, you activate your power. The enemy is attacking you because he sees the warrior inside you. He knows what you will become if you ever step into your full authority. He knows the chains that will be broken. He knows the fire that will be released. The only thing standing between you and your power is fear. But today, fear breaks. No more hesitation. No more waiting. No more delay. Now is the time. Now is the moment. Activate your power. Activate the notification bell. Subscribe now and type, "I am ready," in the comments. Let's shake the kingdom of darkness together. Let's pray. Imagine this. You walk into a room, and without saying a word, the air changes. Eyes turn toward you, some filled with curiosity, others with discomfort. You're not trying to draw attention, yet your presence is undeniable. It's as if the very core of your being ripples through the atmosphere, unsettling and awakening those around you. What is this phenomenon? This is the unseen power of your spiritual energy, a force so aligned and potent that it stirs the hidden truths within others. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. You may be one of the chosen ones. Let's be clear. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It means you carry a unique energy, a higher vibration, and a purpose that may not yet be understood by those around you. Your energy isn't a burden, it's a gift, a call to embrace your light fully. In this journey, we'll uncover why your spiritual energy might unsettle others, and most importantly, how you can embrace it unapologetically to fulfill your purpose. If this message resonates with your spirit, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll explore the depths of spiritual awakening and the power of living authentically. Your light matters. Shine it brightly. The awakening. Why your energy impacts others. Being a chosen one isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Your energy doesn't conform to societal norms or stay confined within the expectations of others. Instead, it acts as a mirror, reflecting the truth that people often avoid in themselves. This can make your presence feel overwhelming, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing everything right. Your energy disrupts the illusions of comfort others have built around their fears, insecurities, and unhealed wounds. Have you ever noticed how some people avoid eye contact with you, or how their mood shifts when you're near? These reactions aren't personal. On a subconscious level, they're feeling exposed in your presence. Your energy is like a spotlight on their shadows, a catalyst for self-awareness and growth. Number 1. The unexplainable presence. The first sign that your spiritual energy unsettles people is the sheer, undeniable power of your presence. This isn't about your physical appearance, your clothing, or even your words. It's an unseen force, a quiet yet potent vibration that emanates from within, carried in the way you stand, the way you move, and the way your eyes seem to see straight through to the core of others. When you enter a space, people feel your energy before you've spoken a single word. There's something in your gaze, something in the calm confidence you exude that challenges everything false around you. Your authenticity becomes a mirror, reflecting back truths that others may have spent years avoiding. It's not intentional on your part. It's simply the natural consequence of your alignment with your higher self. For many, this depth is deeply unsettling. Most people construct lives filled with masks and carefully curated personas, shields to protect themselves from the vulnerability of being fully seen. When your presence enters the room, raw and unapologetic, those masks begin to feel fragile. This can create discomfort or even defensiveness in others. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because they're confronted with parts of themselves they're not ready to face. But let me reassure you, their discomfort is not your responsibility. It's not something to apologize for or fix. It's simply the ripple effect of your light shining brightly. When you live authentically and in alignment with your higher purpose, you naturally challenge the illusions others cling to, and that's a gift, not a fault. So stand tall, hold your light, and know this: your energy doesn't just unsettle, it transforms. Number 2. Magnetic or polarizing. The dual effect of your energy. Another hallmark of powerful spiritual energy is its polarizing effect on others. People are either irresistibly drawn to you or profoundly repelled by you. There's rarely a middle ground. Those who are ready to heal, grow, and awaken to their own potential often find your presence magnetic. They may not fully understand why, but something in your energy resonates deeply with them. It's as if your very being whispers to their soul, reminding them of the greatness and possibilities lying dormant within. Your light acts as a beacon, subtly encouraging them to rise, to heal, and to align with their higher selves. However, not everyone is ready for this kind of awakening. For those clinging tightly to their comfort zones, your energy feels like a threat. It disrupts the foundations of the carefully constructed reality they've built around themselves. To them, your presence isn't just unfamiliar, it's unsettling. You represent change, and change often brings discomfort, fear, and resistance. Have you ever encountered someone who seemed to dislike you instantly, without cause? Or perhaps someone who appeared irritated just by your mere existence? This isn't about who you are, it's about what your energy triggers in them. It stirs up what they're not ready to confront, be it unhealed wounds, hidden insecurities, or fears of stepping outside their comfort zone. It's important to understand that their reaction is not a reflection of your worth, but a sign of their inner conflict. Your energy challenges them to grow, and not everyone is prepared for that journey. So whether people are drawn to you or resistant to your presence, remember this: your spiritual energy is a catalyst for transformation, and transformation always begins with disruption. Stay true to yourself, knowing you are exactly as you're meant to be. Number 3. Misunderstood and misjudged. Being a chosen one often comes with the heavy burden of being misunderstood. People may label you as too intense, too sensitive, or even too intimidating. But these words rarely have anything to do with who you truly are. Instead, they are reflections of their own discomfort, projections of their inability to fully grasp or accept the energy you carry. When someone says you're too much, what they're really saying is, your energy is more than I can handle right now. It's not about you, it's about them. Your authenticity, depth, and alignment can be overwhelming to those who are not ready to confront their own truths. This kind of misunderstanding can feel isolating. You may find yourself walking a path that few seem to relate to, leaving you with moments of doubt or loneliness. But here's the truth: being ahead of your time means forging a new trail, one that others might not yet be prepared to follow. Your role isn't to fit into the mold society has created, it's to reshape it. Leadership, especially spiritual leadership, isn't about seeking approval or popularity. It's about standing firmly in your truth, even when that truth makes others uncomfortable. It's about holding the light when others are still learning to see it, and inspiring growth in ways that may not always be immediately recognized or appreciated. So if you feel out of place or misunderstood, know that this is part of your calling. You are here not to blend in, but to lead. Your courage in embracing your authentic self paves the way for others to do the same, even if they don't understand it yet. Keep standing in your truth. It's exactly what the world needs. Number 4. The mirror effect. Why your energy exposes others. Your energy is more than a presence. It's a force that reaches deep into the unseen layers of those around you. It doesn't just skim the surface, it acts as a mirror, reflecting back the hidden parts of others they may not even realize they're carrying. Their fears, insecurities, and unhealed wounds often rise to the surface in your presence, not because of anything you say or do, but because of the light you naturally emanate. When you're aligned with your higher self, your energy becomes pure and potent. This elevated vibration naturally shines a light on areas where others are out of alignment. It reveals truths they may have spent years burying, bringing to light the parts of themselves they've avoided confronting. For those who are ready to face these truths, your energy is a profound gift. It offers them a chance to grow, to heal, and to begin the journey of transformation. They may not be able to articulate it, but your presence stirs something within them, a quiet whisper urging them toward change. However, not everyone is ready for this reflection. For some, it feels less like an opportunity and more like a confrontation. Your energy, by its very nature, challenges their comfort zones and exposes the illusions they've built around themselves. This can be unsettling, even triggering, because it forces them to acknowledge the parts of themselves they'd rather keep hidden. It's essential to understand that this isn't something you're intentionally doing. Your energy simply exists as it is, aligned, authentic, and unapologetic. For those who feel exposed or uncomfortable, it's their journey to decide whether to face what they see or turn away. Your role is not to dim your light for their comfort, but to continue shining, trusting that your presence is making an impact, even if it's not immediately understood. Number 5. Intuition as your superpower. One of the most extraordinary aspects of your spiritual energy is the depth of your intuition. It's not just an ability to listen to words, it's an ability to feel the energy behind them. You can sense when something is unspoken, when someone's actions don't align with their intentions, or when their words mask deeper truths. It's as though you have a direct line to the undercurrents of emotion and thought that others may not even realize they're projecting. This heightened awareness can sometimes feel like a superpower. You may notice dishonesty before it's spoken, detect hidden motives without evidence, and see through facades with astonishing clarity. People who are used to keeping their true selves hidden can find this deeply unsettling. They may react with surprise, confusion, or even defensiveness, saying things like, "How did you know that?" Or, "It's like you're reading my mind." While this intuitive gift is undoubtedly powerful, it comes with responsibility. The more you trust it, the sharper and more refined it becomes. But this trust also requires discernment. It's not about using your intuition to judge, control, or manipulate others. Instead, it's about using it as a tool for compassion and guidance. Your intuition allows you to navigate the world with wisdom and clarity. It helps you connect with people on a deeper level, offering insight and support in ways they might not even realize they need. However, it's important to remember that not everyone will be comfortable with your ability to perceive what they're not ready to acknowledge. Honor your intuition as a sacred gift. Use it not to expose or challenge others unnecessarily, but to inspire, guide, and uplift. When aligned with love and authenticity, your intuitive energy becomes a powerful force for good in the world. Number 6. Breaking free from societal norms. As someone with powerful spiritual energy, you naturally defy societal expectations. You're not one to blindly follow the rules or accept things as they are just because that's how it's always been. Instead, you question everything, the systems, the norms, the unspoken assumptions, and in doing so, you challenge the status quo. Your ability to see through the illusions of the material world sets you apart. While many find comfort in conformity and predictability, you see beyond it. You recognize where systems are flawed, where truths are hidden, and where change is needed. This makes you a disruptor, not in the sense of chaos, but as a force for transformation in a world often resistant to it. Have you ever been met with comments like, "Why can't you just go along with it?" Or, "Why do you have to make everything so complicated?" These aren't critiques of you, but reflections of the discomfort your truth creates in others. Most people find security in the familiar, even when it no longer serves them. When your energy calls these illusions into question, it can feel threatening to those who aren't ready to step out of their comfort zones. But here's the truth. You're not here to fit neatly into the boxes society has built. You're not here to conform or shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You're here to expand, to challenge, to grow, and to lead by example. Your willingness to ask hard questions, to live authentically, and to push against outdated norms is exactly what the world needs. It's not always an easy path, but it's a necessary one. By standing firm in your truth, you inspire others to do the same, planting seeds of change that ripple far beyond what you can see. Number 7. Embracing your light, unapologetically. For too long, you may have felt the weight of others' expectations pressing down on you, urging you to dim your light. Maybe you've softened your presence to avoid making waves, hidden your truth to keep the peace, or silenced your voice to avoid standing out. You may have convinced yourself that blending in was the safest choice, that holding back would spare others discomfort, or even spare yourself the pain of rejection. But the truth is, the world doesn't need a watered-down version of you. It doesn't need you to dilute your brilliance, your authenticity, or your purpose. What the world desperately needs is your full, radiant, unapologetic self, the version of you that stands boldly in the light of who you truly are. Every time you shrink yourself to fit into someone else's mold, you're betraying the very purpose for which you were chosen. You're denying the world the unique gifts only you can bring. But every time you step into your light, every time you speak your truth, share your wisdom, or embrace your authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. You show them what's possible. Your light is not just for you, it's a beacon for others. It inspires them to step out of their own shadows, to reclaim their truth, and to rise into their potential. By shining brightly, you create ripples of courage and transformation in the hearts of those around you. So stop hiding, stop apologizing, stop betraying the fullness of who you are to make others comfortable. The world needs your light, unfiltered, untamed, and unapologetic. When you embrace your brilliance, you not only honor yourself, but you also help awaken a brighter, bolder world. Practical steps to embrace your power. Take a moment to reflect deeply. What drives you? What ignites your soul and fills you with passion? Your purpose is not just a lofty idea. It's the foundation of your existence. It's the force that gives meaning to your actions and direction to your energy. When the reactions of others feel overwhelming, when they judge, misunderstand, or resist you, ground yourself in your purpose. Let it be your anchor, reminding you of why you are here. By focusing on the impact you want to have on the world, you'll find the strength to navigate challenges and stay true to your path. Your purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Your intuition is one of your most powerful tools, a built-in compass that guides you toward alignment and truth. Yet so many of us are taught to doubt our inner knowing, to rely solely on external validation. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself. Your intuition speaks to you in quiet nudges, gut feelings, and moments of clarity. Trust it. It knows the way, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The more you lean into your intuition, the sharper and more reliable it becomes. Trusting yourself isn't just an act of self-belief. It's an act of honoring the wisdom within you. Your energy is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. Protect it fiercely by setting boundaries with people, situations, and commitments that drain you. Saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you preserve your energy, you allow yourself to operate from a place of balance and wholeness. This is when your light shines brightest. Boundaries are not walls. They're guidelines that ensure your well-being while still allowing meaningful connections. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Surround yourself with people who see your light and celebrate your growth. These are the ones who will lift you up, challenge you to rise higher, and hold space for you during difficult times. At the same time, don't be afraid to let go of relationships that no longer align with who you're becoming. Growth often requires shedding the old to make room for the new. A supportive community doesn't just amplify your energy, it reminds you that you're not alone on this journey. Your words have power. When you speak your truth, you not only free yourself but also inspire others to do the same. Even when it feels uncomfortable, trust that your message will reach those who need it. Your voice carries weight because it comes from a place of authenticity and alignment. Whether you're sharing wisdom, offering encouragement, or simply standing up for what you believe in, your voice is a tool for transformation. Don't underestimate its impact. When you anchor yourself in purpose, trust your intuition, protect your energy, surround yourself with support, and use your voice fearlessly, you step into your power. You align with your higher self, radiating the light and truth that only you can bring into the world. The ripple effect of your awakening. Your spiritual energy extends far beyond the immediate interactions you have with people. It creates ripples, subtle but powerful waves, that reach into the fabric of the collective consciousness. Every choice you make to embrace self-love, to live authentically, and to stand in your light rather than succumb to fear, becomes a beacon of possibility for others. It's easy to underestimate the power of these small, everyday acts. But think for a moment about the people who have impacted your life. Maybe it was their courage in the face of adversity, their unwavering authenticity, or the way they simply radiated presence. These individuals may never know the profound influence they had on you, yet their light inspired you to grow, to heal, and to step more fully into who you are. Now realize this: you are that person for someone else. Every time you choose to honor your truth, even in the face of resistance, you are planting seeds of transformation in the hearts of those around you. Your energy silently inspires others to break free from their own limitations, to explore their potential, and to rise into alignment with their higher selves. You may never witness the full impact of your energy. It's often subtle, unfolding in ways you cannot see. But trust that it's there, shaping lives and awakening possibilities in ways that extend far beyond what you imagine. So, when you feel discouraged or question whether your light makes a difference, remember this: your energy is a catalyst. You are creating ripples of love, courage, and transformation that are touching lives in ways you may never know. By simply being your true self, you are contributing to a brighter, more awakened world. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you stopped holding back? If you fully owned your light, your power, and your truth without hesitation? Imagine stepping into every moment with confidence, unapologetically embracing the brilliance that makes you you. The world isn't waiting for a shadow of you or a diluted version of your essence. It's waiting for the real, vibrant, radiant soul that you are. You weren't meant to play small. You weren't designed to blend in or fit into someone else's mold. You were created to disrupt, to awaken, and to inspire. Yes, your energy might unsettle people. Yes, it might challenge their comfort zones. But it's also the very thing that can heal them, open their hearts, and ignite their own transformation. Your light has a purpose, and it's time to let it shine. Now is the moment to step into your power, to embrace your purpose, and to live as brightly as you were always meant to. Don't keep your gifts hidden any longer. The world needs your light. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Together, we'll continue to explore what it means to live authentically, embrace your spiritual energy, and create ripples of transformation in the world. Remember, your light matters. Shine it boldly and unapologetically. Have you ever wondered why your life seems to draw so much attention? Why every move you make feels like it's being scrutinized, questioned, and sometimes even opposed? This is not a coincidence. You are not just existing, you are living with a divine purpose so powerful that it naturally attracts both curiosity and envy. This isn't something to fear. It's confirmation of the calling on your life. Your light stirs something deep in others, compelling them to seek answers, and sometimes that search leads them to a truth they never expected. Before we dive deeper into this transformative story, let's take a moment to honor you, our incredible audience. Your unwavering support keeps this message alive. If you've ever felt inspired by these truths, comment 99 below as a sign of faith and divine completeness. And to those who have contributed through super thanks, your generosity is more than appreciated. It's a divine seed sown to uplift countless souls. Now imagine this: Someone hires a private investigator to uncover your flaws, confident that they will expose your weaknesses. But as they dig deeper, they don't find what they expected. Instead, they discover something extraordinary, a light so radiant and undeniable that it transforms them. They thought they were exposing you, but they became witnesses to the divine purpose guiding your life. The private investigator took on the assignment with absolute confidence, fully believing it would be a straightforward task. To them, it was routine, a job like any other. They assumed they would quickly uncover secrets, hidden flaws, or past mistakes that could be exploited and used against you. They expected to peel back the layers of your life and find something incriminating, something ordinary, something human. After all, no one is perfect. And surely, they thought, you couldn't be either. This belief filled them with certainty and made their mission seem effortless. But as they began their investigation, something unexpected happened. The deeper they dug into your life, the more their certainty began to crumble. What they encountered was far from what they anticipated. There were no dark secrets, no hidden scandals, no vulnerabilities to expose. Instead, they found something they couldn't explain, a radiant strength that seemed to grow stronger with every discovery they made. It was as if every piece of your life they examined only led them closer to a divine truth they were utterly unprepared to face. Your spiritual resilience was undeniable. Your authenticity, so pure and unshakable, stood as a solid foundation that no accusation could fracture. Your unwavering purpose shone brightly, a beacon of light that could not be dimmed. These qualities weren't ordinary. They were evidence of something far greater than human strength. It became clear that your life was not just a series of events, but a carefully woven narrative guided by a higher power. Each chapter they tried to dissect only revealed a deeper layer of grace, purpose, and divine protection. They began to realize they were not just investigating a person. They were confronting the undeniable hand of God over your life. Like staring directly into the sun, they were blinded by the brilliance of your divine calling. The energy they sought to dismantle wasn't something fragile or fleeting. It was rooted in something eternal, a divine force that cannot be measured, contained, or destroyed. This wasn't simply an investigation anymore. It had become a direct confrontation with God's unshakable plan for your life. Their mission was doomed from the very beginning, not because they were incompetent or careless, but because they were up against something far beyond their understanding. Psalm 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" That light within you didn't just illuminate, it overwhelmed the darkness, leaving no room for the shadows they hoped to exploit. They expected to find skeletons in your closet, but instead, they stumbled upon profound truths that shattered their expectations. The more they searched for weaknesses, the more they encountered a divine strength that was untouchable. Every attempt to undermine you only led them deeper into the realization that your life is wrapped in divine favor. They couldn't understand it, and they certainly couldn't fight it. The very energy they aimed to dismantle was beyond their reach. It was a spiritual force, a divine presence that silences every attack and renders every scheme powerless. What they intended to be your downfall became their awakening. They were no longer just investigators. They had become unwilling witnesses to the undeniable power of God's purpose in your life. Think of Joseph in Genesis 37. His story is one of betrayal, suffering, and ultimately, divine elevation. Joseph was favored by his father Jacob and gifted with a richly ornamented coat, symbolizing his unique place in the family. But it was not the coat alone that stirred envy in his brothers. It was the dreams God placed in Joseph's heart, dreams of leadership, of greatness, of divine purpose. His brothers, consumed by jealousy, couldn't stand the thought of Joseph rising above them. Their envy sharpened into resentment, and resentment hardened into action. In their bitterness, they conspired against him. They stripped him of his coat, the outward symbol of favor, and sold him into slavery, believing they had erased the advantage God had given him. They thought they had silenced him, buried his dreams, and destroyed his future. Yet, what they didn't realize was that their betrayal became the very path God used to elevate Joseph. Joseph's journey was not easy. He was sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. But through every trial, God's hand was upon him. Every setback was a setup for something greater. In the depths of his suffering, Joseph developed wisdom, strength, and resilience that prepared him for leadership. Eventually, he rose to become the second most powerful man in Egypt, and when famine struck the land, it was Joseph's position that allowed him to save countless lives, including the very brothers who had betrayed him. Years later, those same brothers bowed before Joseph, unaware of who he was. When they finally realized his identity, they feared retribution. But Joseph, filled with divine understanding, spoke words that resonate through time. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Now reflect on your own life. Perhaps someone close to you has conspired against you. Someone who once stood beside you but could not bear to witness your growth. Maybe their jealousy turned into resentment, and their resentment into action, much like Joseph's brothers. They may have orchestrated an investigation into your life, hoping to uncover flaws or mistakes, believing they could tarnish your reputation or halt your progress. But they failed to understand that the favor on your life cannot be erased by human schemes. What they meant for harm is already being transformed for your good. Their attempts to tear you down have become the very stepping stones God is using to elevate you. Every scheme against you is now part of a larger plan, a divine design that is positioning you for something far greater than you could imagine. Just as Joseph's trials prepared him for leadership, your challenges are refining you for your divine purpose. Every betrayal, every false accusation, every attempt to undermine you is being woven into God's perfect plan. Your adversaries have unknowingly become instruments in the process of your elevation. Remember this: no human action can override God's intention for your life. Their schemes are powerless against His divine purpose. What they plotted in secret will only serve to highlight the strength, grace, and favor God has placed upon you. Like Joseph, you are being prepared for a position of influence and impact, and in time, those who sought to harm you will see the fullness of God's plan revealed. Stand firm in this truth. Their actions cannot stop what God has ordained. Let their attempts to harm you be a confirmation of your calling. Every step they take against you is only pushing you closer to your divine destiny. Reflect on the story of Daniel in Daniel 6, a powerful example of how unwavering faith can turn plots of destruction into platforms for God's glory. Daniel was a man of integrity, wisdom, and deep devotion to God. His faithfulness earned him favor with King Darius, who planned to elevate Daniel to a position of great authority over the entire kingdom. But this favor sparked jealousy among the other officials and administrators. They could not tolerate Daniel's rise and sought to bring him down. Driven by envy, these men conspired against Daniel. They scrutinized his life, searching for any flaw or mistake that could discredit him. Yet, they found nothing. Daniel was blameless in his duties and faultless in his character. Frustrated, they realized that the only way to trap him was through his faith in God. So they devised a deceptive plan, convincing King Darius to sign a decree that prohibited anyone from praying to any god or human other than the king for 30 days. The punishment for disobedience was severe, being thrown into a den of lions. Daniel, aware of this decree, remained steadfast. He did not hide or waver. He continued to pray openly, just as he had always done, demonstrating his unshakable trust in God. Daniel's enemies thought they had won. They believed their scheme would lead to his destruction, but they greatly underestimated the power of the God Daniel served. Thrown into the lion's den, Daniel should have been devoured. Yet God sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and Daniel emerged unharmed. His faith didn't just protect him, it magnified God's glory. Now reflect on your own life. Just like Daniel, you may have people who plot against you, hoping to expose your weaknesses or undermine your progress. They examine your life, searching for faults to exploit, but find nothing substantial. Frustrated, they target your character, your values, and your divine purpose. They think their schemes can derail your destiny, but they cannot. Every attack against you has only highlighted the strength of your foundation. Their attempts to discredit you have revealed not weakness, but resilience. Their accusations have crumbled under the weight of your authenticity and the undeniable favor of God on your life. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." This is more than just scripture. It is the living reality of your existence. The weapons formed against you may be sharp and intentional, but they are powerless against God's protection. Like Daniel, your faith and unwavering trust in God have turned every trap set for your downfall into a stage for His glory. Those who have conspired against you will witness your rise. Their own schemes will collapse, and the very attacks meant to harm you will become testimonies of God's faithfulness in your life. Your enemies will stand speechless, unable to comprehend how every obstacle they placed before you became a stepping stone toward your divine elevation. No scheme, no slander, no strategy formed against you can succeed. Like Daniel, you are covered by God's unbreakable protection. Your steadfast faith is your greatest defense, and God will continue to use every attempt against you to reveal His glory. Imagine the investigator, once so confident in their mission, slowly realizing that their assignment was far more than uncovering flaws. It was an intrusion into something sacred. What they believed would be a simple task of exposing weakness turned into something deeply unsettling. Every file they opened, every detail they scrutinized, didn't reveal failure but instead echoed with undeniable divine purpose. With each discovery, the investigator began to sense the weight of what they were truly confronting. The pieces of your life didn't form a narrative of mistakes, but a tapestry of resilience, grace, and unwavering faith. The more they searched, the more they saw life intricately woven by God's hand. Their task, once clear, now felt like a violation of something holy. The deeper they went, the heavier the burden of guilt became. They began questioning their motives, recognizing the cracks in their own character. Their mission no longer made sense. They were no longer just investigating you. They were being forced to confront their own insecurities, their own moral failures. Like the Pharisees in John 8:7, who brought a woman before Jesus to be condemned and were met with His piercing words, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." The investigator faced a truth they couldn't ignore. Just as those accusers slowly walked away, unable to justify their judgment, the investigators' pursuit unraveled. Their mission crumbled under the weight of divine truth. What was meant to harm you only exposed their own flaws, leaving them defeated not by force, but by the undeniable presence of God in your life. But the most profound and undeniable moment came when the investigator followed the evidence to its true source, the very people who had hired them. What began as a mission to uncover your flaws slowly unraveled into a trail of deceit, manipulation, and hidden agendas. The shadows they pursued did not surround you. Instead, they led straight back to the ones operating behind the scenes. The true darkness wasn't in your life, but in the hearts of those who orchestrated the entire scheme. Proverbs 26:27 says, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." This scripture came to life as their carefully crafted plot collapsed in on itself. The traps they set for you became snares for their own feet. Every lie they spun, every scheme they devised, recoiled with devastating force. What they intended as a weapon against you became the very tool of their downfall. This is the essence of God's divine reversal. It wasn't through confrontation or retaliation that their plans were destroyed. It was through the sovereign hand of God. Every attempt to discredit you became a platform for your vindication. Their deceit exposed only their own guilt, and their power crumbled beneath the weight of truth. God turned their evil intentions into undeniable proof of His favor and protection over your life. What they meant for harm has been transformed into evidence of your divine calling. Their failure was not accidental. It was inevitable, for no scheme can stand against the will of God. Chosen one, what will you do now with this truth? Will you let their failed attempts distract you, or will you stand firm in your calling? Isaiah 41:10 reminds you, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Walk boldly." Your life is not ordinary, it's a divine testimony. Their schemes have only confirmed what God has already declared over you. Every attempt to break you has only made you stronger. Let their failure be your confirmation. You are chosen. You are shielded. You are unshakable. So stand tall, chosen one. The world may scrutinize you, but they cannot comprehend the power within you. You are a reflection of God's glory, a living, breathing testament to His divine purpose. If this message has stirred something within you, comment 99 below as a sign of faith and divine completeness. Like and share this message so others can step into their calling. May God continue to protect you, guide you, and elevate you beyond every scheme. You are chosen. You are unstoppable. You are destined for greatness. Amen. What I'm about to share may surprise you, perhaps even shock you. If you're watching this video right now, it's not by coincidence. God has led you here because something powerful is happening in your life. You are shifting from wanting to having. Yes, you heard me correctly. The very things you've been praying for, hoping for, and waiting for are no longer distant desires on the horizon. They are already moving into your reality. This is far more than a simple change in mindset. It's a profound spiritual and energetic transformation. As a chosen one, you're on the brink of witnessing doors opening and opportunities aligning in ways that will leave you speechless. To fully embrace and harness the power of this shift, it's crucial to understand how it works. Before we dive into this life-changing message, I invite you to pause for a moment and do 3 powerful things. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment with the number 11, a number resonating with spiritual alignment and divine timing. If you are truly a chosen one, you'll watch this video until the end because your spirit already knows this message is for you. Those not ready for the truth may not make it, but for those who do, your life will never be the same. Let's begin. There were whispers behind your back, voices filled with doubt and ready to pounce at the slightest sign of weakness. They thought they knew your story, the one they had carefully crafted in their minds to fit their own limited expectations. They won't make it, they sneered. They're not strong enough. They'll fall. They watched you closely, waiting for the cracks to appear, eagerly anticipating the moment they could point and say, "I told you so." But what they didn't realize was that you were built for this journey, forged by trials far greater than they could ever imagine. Every challenge they thought would break you became a stepping stone, a test of your strength that only made you stronger. It wasn't just your determination that took them by surprise. It was the quiet, unshakable resolve you carried deep within. They expected you to stumble, to falter under the weight of life's obstacles. But instead, you moved forward, step by deliberate step, with a focus so steady it left them stunned. Where they saw failure, you saw opportunity. Where they saw defeat, you uncovered the chance to rise even higher. Your journey became a mirror, one they couldn't ignore. It reflected not your weaknesses but their insecurities, their inability to see beyond their own fears and limitations. They underestimated you because they couldn't fathom a strength like yours, a strength that didn't seek validation or approval but thrived quietly, persistently, and powerfully. Each time they whispered behind your back, waiting for your collapse, they only fueled your resolve. Their doubts became the fire that propelled you forward, the energy you needed to prove, not to them but to yourself, that you were capable of so much more. What they didn't understand was that your endurance was not just physical or mental, it was spiritual. It was born from a place they couldn't touch, a place of unwavering belief that your purpose was far greater than their judgments. As they watched, their narrative unraveled. The person they thought would break was unbreakable. The one they believed would falter kept rising, leaving them speechless. Their hopes for your downfall shattered as they saw your resilience in action. A resilience that turned every setback into a comeback, every obstacle into an opportunity. In the end, it wasn't your failures that they were forced to confront, but their own misjudgment. You didn't just defy their expectations, you transcended them. And as you stood stronger, steadier, and higher than they ever thought possible, they were left with no choice but to watch in awe, knowing they had witnessed something they never believed could happen. Your undeniable, unstoppable rise. The first time they underestimated you, it was their greatest mistake. They looked at your quiet nature and misjudged it as weakness. They assumed you were just another face in the crowd, another dreamer too fragile to withstand the challenges of life, too timid to rise above mediocrity. They were quick to write you off, convinced that you lacked the strength or determination to make a real impact. But what they failed to see was the quiet storm within you, the fire that burned steadily beneath the surface. You didn't need to shout to prove your worth or demand attention to assert your presence. Instead, you focused on your path, pouring your energy into your goals. Every step forward you took, every quiet victory you claimed, spoke louder than the noise they created. While they busied themselves with judgments and assumptions, you stayed committed to the work, letting your progress speak for itself. You didn't seek validation from anyone because you didn't need it. Your belief in yourself was all the fuel you required. Their doubts, their underestimation, and their misplaced confidence in your failure became the very foundation of your strength. They couldn't see the depth of your resolve or the unshakable strength you carried within. Their misjudgment became your greatest weapon, a silent motivator that drove you to rise higher than even you thought possible. With every doubt they cast, you built another stepping stone toward greatness. In their blindness, they didn't just underestimate your potential. They handed you the fuel to transform every whisper of doubt into a roaring testament of success. What they thought would limit you only propelled you further, leaving them to marvel at a fire they never saw coming. The world has a way of putting people into boxes, defining their worth, their abilities, and their future based on narrow assumptions. It creates labels and molds, expecting everyone to conform to its expectations. But from the very beginning, you were never meant to fit into their boxes. You were destined to break free. Time and time again, they tried to impose their limits on you. They told you what you couldn't do, who you couldn't be, and how far you would never go. Yet every time you shattered their expectations, the labels they placed on you weren't confinements. They became challenges. And with every challenge, you met it head-on, armed with courage that refused to waver. You didn't just meet the expectations set for you, you obliterated them. Where others saw walls, you saw doors waiting to be opened. Where they saw barriers, you found stepping stones. Each limit they tried to impose became another opportunity for you to prove them wrong. Not out of spite, but because you knew their opinions could never define your potential. With every barrier you broke, you moved closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. The journey wasn't just about defying their expectations, it was about discovering the greatness within yourself. They thought they knew your limits. They believed they had you figured out. But they were wrong. What they didn't realize was that your spirit was never bound by their rules. You were born to rise, to break free, and to create a life that defies the molds the world tried to shape you into. And with every step forward, you continue to prove that their limits were never yours to begin with. For so long, they tried to control you. They dictated your every move, deciding what path you should take, who you should be, and how far you could go. Their expectations weighed heavily on you, their manipulations subtle yet suffocating, and their pressures designed to keep you in line. You carried their judgments, their fears, and their vision for your life as though it was your own. But deep down, you knew this wasn't your path. You knew you were made for more. Then came the moment of realization, a powerful, undeniable truth. You could no longer live under their control. It wasn't anger or defiance that moved you. It was clarity. You saw the chains they had placed around you for what they truly were, limitations built from their insecurities and fears. It was time to break free, to step out of their shadow and into your own light. Letting go wasn't easy. The chains weren't just physical. They had rooted themselves in your mind and spirit. Breaking free meant confronting years of conditioning, questioning everything you had been told to believe. But you fought through it all, determined to reclaim what was rightfully yours, your independence, your identity, your future. And once you broke free, there was no turning back. The moment you chose yourself, you began to see the strength within you that had been hidden all along. It was a strength born not just of survival, but of transformation. You realized you were capable of far more than they ever allowed you to believe. This wasn't just an act of rebellion. It was a necessary awakening. By stepping into your power, you became the person you were always destined to be, free, strong, and unshakable. And now, nothing can hold you back. The odds were stacked against you from the very beginning. You didn't have the resources others seem to effortlessly possess, the support system that so many take for granted, or even the belief of those around you. Everywhere you turned, it felt like the world was betting against you. But despite it all, you didn't stop. You refused to give up on yourself or your dreams, even when everything seemed to be working against you. Instead of letting adversity crush you, you learned to turn it into fuel. Every setback, every obstacle, became a spark that ignited your determination. Each time they told you it was impossible, you didn't just ignore them. You made it possible. You didn't rely on their approval or validation. You relied on your own inner strength and faith that you were meant for something greater. Your journey wasn't just about proving them wrong. It went far deeper than that. It was about proving to yourself that you were capable of rising above anything life threw your way. You realized that the greatest battle wasn't with the world, but within yourself, to silence the doubts, overcome the fear, and push forward when it felt easier to give in. With every challenge, you didn't just survive, you grew. With every failure, you didn't just stumble, you learned. Each trial became a lesson, each roadblock a stepping stone toward the person you were becoming. The odds may have been against you, but they were never strong enough to stop you. You turned your struggles into strength, your pain into progress, and your setbacks into stepping stones. Now, as you stand where others thought you'd never reach, your story isn't just one of triumph. It's a testament to the power of resilience, courage, and unwavering self-belief. What truly sets you apart isn't just your resilience. It's the extraordinary power that comes from within. This power is not loud or boastful. It doesn't demand attention. Instead, it resides quietly but firmly in the depths of your being, a constant force that sustains and strengthens you in ways that others can only marvel at. This power is far greater than physical strength. It transcends the limitations of the body and lives in your mind, heart, and spirit. It is mental clarity, the ability to stay focused and determined when chaos surrounds you. It is emotional depth, allowing you to process pain, learn from it, and rise above it without losing your compassion or sense of self. It is spiritual grounding, a connection to something greater than yourself that gives you purpose and perspective even in your darkest hours. Through every storm, this power has been your anchor, holding you steady when the winds of doubt tried to knock you down. When the path ahead seemed unclear, it became your compass, guiding you forward with unwavering assurance. While others may have faltered under pressure, you pressed on, driven by this inner force that refused to let you give up. What makes this power so remarkable is that it cannot be taken from you. It is entirely yours, a gift that grows stronger every time you face adversity. It doesn't diminish with time or fade with hardship. Instead, it deepens, becoming an unstoppable force that propels you toward your destiny. This inner strength is your greatest ally, your quiet superpower. It's not always visible to the outside world, but its presence is undeniable, both to you and to anyone fortunate enough to witness the incredible heights it enables you to reach. Every great journey has a turning point, a moment so profound that it alters the course of everything that comes after. For you, that moment wasn't just a simple change. It was a complete transformation, a shift that redefined how you saw yourself and the life you were meant to lead. In that moment, you went from questioning your abilities to embracing your inherent greatness. The doubts that once held you back no longer had a place in your mind. You realized that the struggles you had endured weren't designed to break you, but to mold you into the person you were always destined to become. The challenges you faced weren't obstacles. They were stepping stones, each one preparing you for something greater. It was as if a veil had been lifted, and for the first time, you could see the strength, potential, and purpose that had always been within you. The fears that once paralyzed you began to fade, replaced by an unwavering belief in yourself and the journey ahead. From that moment on, there was no going back. You stopped hesitating and started moving forward with boldness and intention. You embraced the power that had always been inside you, that quiet, unshakable force that had carried you through every storm. With every step you took, you walked more confidently toward your destiny, knowing that you were no longer defined by past failures or external expectations. This transformation wasn't just about rising above challenges. It was about stepping into your true self. It was a declaration to the world and to yourself that you were ready to claim the life you were meant to live, no matter what lay ahead. From that moment, your journey became unstoppable, and your path became a testament to the incredible power of self-belief and transformation. The world often defines success by material measures, wealth, status, and public recognition. It sets a standard that many chase, often losing themselves in the process. But for you, success was never about fitting into someone else's mold or meeting societal expectations. For you, true success is something far deeper. It's about personal growth, resilience, and living a life that aligns with your greater purpose. You've learned that success isn't something the world can hand to you, nor is it something that can be taken away. You've redefined what it means to succeed on your own terms, and in doing so, you've liberated yourself from the endless chase for external validation. For you, success is not about how others perceive you, but about how true you are to yourself. Every step forward is a victory, not because it's recognized by others, but because it reflects your commitment to becoming the person you were meant to be. Success is the quiet pride you feel when you've overcome a challenge, the satisfaction of knowing you stayed true to your values, and the peace that comes from living authentically. This new definition has freed you. You no longer measure yourself by comparisons or competition. Instead, you measure your progress by the distance you've traveled on your journey and the lessons you've learned along the way. For you, success isn't a destination, but a way of living. It's about embracing your path, no matter how unconventional, and finding joy in the process of becoming. By choosing to live in alignment with your purpose, you've unlocked a form of success that no wealth or recognition could ever provide: true fulfillment. Your rise isn't just a personal triumph. It's a ripple effect that will reach far beyond what you can imagine, inspiring generations to come. Your story, shaped by resilience and fueled by unwavering determination, will serve as a beacon of hope for others. It will encourage those who feel trapped by their circumstances to defy the odds, rise above their challenges, and pursue their own greatness. Every step you've taken, every obstacle you've overcome, has not only been for you but for those who will look to your journey as proof that it's possible to achieve the extraordinary. Your victories carry a message that even when the world counts you out, even when the odds seem insurmountable, the power within you can lead to unimaginable heights. You were chosen for something far greater than yourself, a purpose that transcends personal success. Your journey is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the potential that lies within each of us. It is a reminder that greatness isn't about being flawless. It's about being courageous, determined, and willing to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. Though the world may not have been ready for you before, they can no longer deny your presence. Now they will witness the greatness you were born to achieve. Your journey is just beginning, and its impact will ripple outward, touching lives and changing perspectives. This isn't just your story, it's a legacy in the making, a legacy that will inspire others to believe in their own power, pursue their purpose, and rise to their own greatness. The world is watching now, and what they will see is a life that defies limits and ignites hope. You were never meant to live a life of mediocrity. From the moment you took your first breath, a greater destiny was in store for you. Every challenge, every triumph, has been leading you to this moment. You are living proof that no matter the odds, greatness is possible. Your purpose is woven into the fabric of the universe. As you continue to walk this path, there is no limit to the heights you will reach. This is your time to rise, to inspire, and to transform the world around you. The chosen one isn't just a title, it's a destiny, and you are living it. As we step into this new season, a time overflowing with promise and transformation, something extraordinary is unfolding. It's more than just a story. It's a revelation so profound that it could completely redefine everything you thought you knew about your purpose and destiny. This is a moment designed by God Himself, a divine appointment that you were meant to keep. If you're here, it's not by coincidence. You were drawn to this message because the time has come for you to uncover what has been hidden for so long. The timing is perfect, and so are you for this moment. Take a deep breath and reflect on this divine alignment. Before we move forward, I invite you to take an intentional step of faith. Comment 77 below as a declaration of your readiness to receive this life-changing truth. This number represents spiritual awakening and divine revelation. By engaging, you're signaling to God and yourself that you're prepared for the transformation ahead. To those who have supported this mission through Super Thanks, your generosity fuels this journey of faith and revelation. From the depths of my heart, I thank you. Your belief in this vision allows us to continue sharing these messages of hope, empowerment, and restoration with the world. Your support is a testament to the incredible power of community and shared purpose. Now let me ask you this. What if the key to your divine inheritance has been hidden from you all along? What if it was concealed beneath layers of secrecy and deceit? Today, something incredible has been uncovered, a revelation connected to your very name. A truth so powerful that it holds the potential to transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Who kept this hidden from you? And why is it being revealed now, at this very moment? Stay with me, because what we are about to uncover is not just a story, it's your story. The banking authorities have stumbled upon something astonishing, a hidden account tied directly to your name. But this isn't just about material wealth. This discovery is far more significant. It is a divine emblem of justice, restoration, and balance. For so long, you may have felt as though your dreams were always just beyond reach, slipping through your fingers like grains of sand. Yet now, this revelation is God's declaration that you were never forsaken. What heaven has ordained for you can never be stolen, no matter how deeply it was hidden. Have you ever felt an unshakable pull towards something greater? A quiet but persistent sense that you were destined for more? Those feelings weren't mere daydreams. They were whispers from God, gentle reminders of the calling He placed upon your life. Reflect on Psalm 37, verse 4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Those desires were not misplaced. They were carefully planted by God as promises of the blessings to come. The discovery of these funds is not random. It's tangible evidence of the blessings you've been manifesting through faith, even in the most difficult times. Like Joseph in Genesis 41, who rose to power after enduring years of hardship, You too are stepping into a season where your patience and unwavering faith will be richly rewarded. Do you believe this is your moment to reclaim what was always meant for you? No longer should you remain silent or linger in doubt. Speak this aloud right now. I reclaim my blessings. Align yourself with the abundance that has been waiting for you. Remember, faith without works is dead. As you take this step of faith, you are unlocking truths that have been hidden for far too long. For too long, life may have felt overwhelmingly unfair. You've watched others move forward, achieving dreams and reaching milestones, while you remained stuck. Despite the sacrifices you've made and the relentless effort you've poured into your journey. You've smiled in public, but behind closed doors you cried in silence. You've endured sleepless nights, your heart heavy with worry, and whispered prayers that seemed to echo into nothingness. But hear this truth today. God has seen every moment. Not a single tear has gone unnoticed. Not one prayer has been ignored. Every act of kindness you extended, every time you chose integrity over convenience, every moment you continued to press forward despite the odds, God was watching. He has been working behind the scenes, quietly aligning circumstances in your favor. Galatians 6:9 offers this powerful encouragement. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. This is that proper time. This is your season of harvest. The waiting, the struggles, the heartbreak. It was not in vain. You are now stepping into a divine season of restoration, where everything that was delayed, denied, or hidden will be returned to you in abundance. There were people who schemed against you, driven by envy and greed. They believed they could bury your blessings, that they could silence your voice and obstruct your path. They may have whispered behind your back, manipulated situations, and rejoiced when you stumbled. But their plans are crumbling because they were never stronger than God's promise over your life. Isaiah 54:17 boldly declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn." This is God's unshakable promise. The weapons may have been formed, but they were powerless against the hand of God on your life. Every word spoken against you, every attempt to sabotage your destiny, is now being silenced by God's justice. Luke 12:2 reminds us of this truth. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. Those who worked in the shadows to suppress your blessings are now powerless. Their secrets are exposed, and the truth is rising to the surface. What was hidden is now being brought into the light, because God is a God of justice, restoration, and truth. Can you feel the power of this truth in your spirit? God has not forgotten you. The pain, the delays, and the struggles were preparing you for a blessing so great that it required you to be refined, strengthened, and ready. What others tried to withhold from you is now being released in God's perfect timing. This is your moment of restoration. Walk boldly in this season. Stand firm in faith, knowing that what God has ordained for you, no one can take away. Your harvest is here. Your blessings are unfolding, and your story is far from over. Step into it with confidence. This is your time. Betrayal is a wound that cuts deeper than most because it often comes from those we hold closest to our hearts. A trusted friend, a family member, or a confidant, someone you believed would protect you, may have been the very person who worked to keep your blessings hidden. This kind of pain is unlike any other because it strikes at the core of trust and love. King David, a man after God's own heart, knew this pain all too well. In Psalm 55:12-14, he laments, "If an enemy were insulting me, I could endure it. If a foe were rising against me, I could hide. But it is you, a man like myself, my companion, my close friend, with whom I once enjoyed sweet fellowship at the house of God, as we walked about among the worshipers. This scripture captures the sting of realizing that betrayal didn't come from a distant enemy, but from someone within his inner circle. David's words echo the heartbreak that many of us have felt, the disbelief that someone so close could inflict such deep pain. Yet, even when betrayal feels overwhelming, God sees every hidden act. Proverbs 15:3 reminds us, "The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good." Nothing escapes God's notice. Every deceitful act, every false word spoken behind closed doors, every scheme against you has been seen by the one who holds justice in his hands. Even in the quiet moments when you felt isolated in your pain, you were never truly alone. God has been watching, comforting, and preparing you for what's next. Look at the story of Joseph in Genesis. Betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and falsely imprisoned, Joseph had every reason to give up. But God was silently orchestrating every step. The betrayal that was meant to destroy him became the very path that led him to power, where he saved countless lives during famine. Joseph's powerful words to his brothers in Genesis 50:20 reveal a profound truth. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." This is God's pattern, turning pain into purpose, betrayal into blessing. Declare this over your life today. I rise above betrayal. This is more than just words. It's a powerful affirmation that betrayal will not define you. The pain you've endured is not the end of your story. It is the foundation upon which God is building something greater. Like Joseph, God is using what was meant to harm you to prepare you for a future of purpose, leadership, and influence. No betrayal, no scheme, and no hidden agenda can stop God's plan for your life. This moment is not a coincidence. It is your divine appointment, a sacred point in time that God has orchestrated specifically for you. What has been revealed to you now is far more than just financial provision or material gain. This hidden blessing is tangible proof of God's unwavering promise and his divine plan for your life. It is a confirmation that every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've shed, and every hardship you've endured has not gone unnoticed. Romans 8:28 reminds us of this profound truth. "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Nothing in your life has been wasted. Every setback, every betrayal, and every moment of waiting has been woven into God's greater plan. A plan to prosper you and not to harm you. A plan to give you hope and a future. You are not here by accident. You have been prepared for this very moment. Consider David, a humble shepherd boy who spent years tending sheep, seemingly far from the path of greatness. Yet God was preparing him in those quiet, hidden places for a destiny beyond what anyone could have imagined. David's time in the fields, protecting his flock, developed the courage and faith he needed to defeat Goliath and later rule as king. Think of Esther, an orphaned Jewish girl who became queen. She was placed in a position of power not by chance but by divine design. When her people faced annihilation, Esther was reminded of her purpose in Esther 4:14. "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Just like David and Esther, you have been prepared for this season. Everything you faced was not to break you, but to strengthen and refine you for the responsibility that comes with this blessing. Yet, this blessing carries weight. It demands responsibility, discernment, and wisdom. Not everyone around you will celebrate your victory. Some may not understand the depth of your calling, and others might even envy the favor upon your life. That is why it's crucial to guard your heart and protect this blessing. Proverbs 4:23 instructs us, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." You must be discerning about who you share your victories with. Some battles are best fought in silence, trusting God to reveal the truth in his perfect timing. Not every detail of your breakthrough needs to be broadcasted. There is power in quiet obedience and humble stewardship. This is your divine moment, entrusted to you by God. Handle it with care, nurture it with gratitude, and walk boldly in the purpose He has set before you, knowing that what God has ordained for you, no one can take away. Step forward with confidence. This is your time. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a powerful new chapter. The wealth uncovered is not simply financial. It is a symbol of God's divine justice, His restoration, and His unwavering promise to you. Hebrews 11:1 encourages us. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Speak this boldly. I unlock my future. I trust God's plan. This blessing is not random. It's a divine appointment, placed in your hands because God knows you are ready. Now the question remains, what will you do with this opportunity? Will you rise to the occasion, step into your destiny, and use this blessing to fulfill the divine purpose set before you? The choice is yours, and the time is now. Before you go, if this message has spoken to your spirit, I invite you to support this mission through Super Thanks. Your generosity allows us to continue sharing powerful messages of hope, faith, and empowerment with those who need it most. Every contribution, big or small, helps us reach more hearts and souls, spreading God's word and inspiring transformation around the world. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being part of this journey. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a message that could change your life. Join this growing community of believers walking in faith and purpose. Like, comment, and share this message to bless someone else today. May God's favor and peace be upon you. You are blessed, chosen, and unstoppable. Thank you for being here. Stay encouraged and stay faithful. Have you ever stopped to wonder if true prosperity lies beyond the endless cycle of chasing financial security? In a world where success is often measured by the stability of a 9-to-5 job, could there be a higher way? A path that leads not only to wealth, but also to fulfillment and lasting purpose. King Solomon, renowned for his unmatched wisdom and unparalleled wealth, offers us a timeless truth that challenges conventional thinking. In Proverbs 8:18 he declares, "Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness." This profound statement is more than an invitation to pursue material gain. It's a call to redefine success. True prosperity isn't confined to a paycheck or promotion. It's the fruit of wisdom, faith, and aligning our lives with God's eternal principles. Now close your eyes and envision this: a life unshackled from financial limitations. Imagine being the architect of your own financial freedom, walking a path illuminated by God's wisdom. Picture a prosperity that flows not only from the work of your hands, but from divine guidance shaping your every step. Friends, this is the prosperity Solomon speaks of, a life of abundance built on enduring values, one that leaves a legacy of honor and righteousness. If this resonates with your heart, you're in the right place. On this channel, we explore the timeless wisdom of the Bible and how it can transform your life in powerful, practical ways. Don't miss out on this journey of growth and inspiration. Hit subscribe and join our community as we uncover the path to true prosperity together. Your breakthrough starts here. Let's walk this journey of purpose and abundance, hand in hand. Let's begin by addressing a common mindset: the belief that financial security is tied to job stability. In today's world, success is often defined by a steady paycheck or a single source of income. But King Solomon's wisdom challenges us to break free from this conventional mindset. He invites us to see a new path, one where wealth is not tied to a job but flows from wisdom, faith, and courage to think differently. As Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." This verse shifts our focus from the work of our hands to the divine wisdom that empowers us to create lasting abundance. Imagine how liberating it would be to know that your financial stability isn't chained to a single paycheck. Picture a life where you are free to pursue your God-given purpose, where your income reflects not just your labor, but your alignment with wisdom and divine principles. This is the freedom Solomon invites us to embrace, a freedom rooted in trusting God and stewarding what He provides. Let's take a moment to reflect on the remarkable story of Joseph in Genesis 41. Joseph's journey began in adversity, sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit, and left to languish in prison. By all appearances, his circumstances were hopeless. Yet Joseph's story is not one of defeat, but of triumph, made possible by his unwavering faith and the wisdom God gave him. When Pharaoh had dreams no one could interpret, Joseph's God-given insight provided the answers. His wisdom not only saved Egypt from disaster, but also elevated him to a position of leadership, second only to Pharaoh. As Egypt faced years of famine, Joseph implemented a resource management plan so effective that it not only sustained the nation, but allowed it to serve others in need. Joseph's success didn't come from clinging to conventional methods. He didn't rely on status, connections, or personal gain. Instead, he trusted in God's guidance, took bold, strategic actions, and exercised wisdom in every decision. His story stands as a testament to the power of aligning one's actions with divine principles. Through his faith and courage, Joseph transformed his circumstances, and in doing so, he became a vessel of God's provision for countless others. Today, like Joseph, we find ourselves at a crossroads. Will we remain confined to traditional thinking, relying solely on others for financial security? Or will we embrace the wisdom Solomon speaks of, seeking divine guidance, taking bold steps, and stewarding resources with care? This decision isn't simply about earning more money. It's about reshaping how we view wealth and purpose. True prosperity isn't about accumulation, it's about alignment. Aligning our lives with God's wisdom and allowing Him to guide us toward a purpose that transcends material gain. Imagine what could happen if we, like Joseph, trusted God to lead us into the unknown. What if we dared to think differently, to step out in faith, and to manage what we've been given with diligence and care? Joseph's story reminds us that when we act with wisdom and faith, God can take even the most dire circumstances and turn them into something extraordinary. The question is, will we trust Him to do the same in our lives? When we think about money, it's easy to become entangled in common misconceptions. Statements like, "Money is the root of all evil," or "Wealth corrupts." These phrases have shaped the way many people view wealth, often leading to feelings of guilt, fear, or confusion about the role money should play in their lives. But what does the Bible truly say about money? King Solomon, known for his extraordinary wisdom, sheds light on this subject in Ecclesiastes 5:10. "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied." This too is meaningless. In this verse, Solomon doesn't condemn money itself, but addresses a deeper issue. The problem isn't wealth, it's our unhealthy attachment to it. When money becomes our master, when we place it at the center of our lives and look to it for happiness or security, we find ourselves perpetually dissatisfied. No amount of wealth can fill the void left by a misplaced focus, and chasing it relentlessly only leads to frustration and emptiness. It's crucial to understand that money, at its core, is neither inherently good nor evil. It's a tool. Like any tool, its value lies in how it is used. When approached with wisdom, faith, and a sense of purpose, money becomes a powerful instrument for good. It can be used to fulfill our responsibilities, provide for our families, create opportunities for others, and bring hope to those in need. The Bible does not discourage wealth. Rather, it warns against the dangers of loving it above all else. 1 Timothy 6:10 clarifies a common misquote: "The love of money is the root of all evil." This distinction is critical. Wealth itself is not the issue. It is the unhealthy attachment to money that leads to greed, corruption, and poor decisions. When we view money as a resource entrusted to us by God, it becomes a means of stewardship, a way to honor Him and bless others. Ultimately, The impact of money is determined by the heart of the person managing it. Used wisely, it can transform lives, reflect our values, and advance God's purpose in the world. The question is not whether we should have money, but whether we are using it as a tool to serve God and others or allowing it to control us. Solomon's timeless wisdom reminds us that true and lasting prosperity begins with understanding. In Proverbs 4:7 he writes, "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding." This verse underscores that wisdom and understanding are not optional, they are foundational. Without them, even great wealth can be fleeting. Financial literacy is a key part of this wisdom. It equips us with the tools to manage resources effectively, ensuring that what we earn, save, and invest grows into lasting abundance. Consider the stories of lottery winners who lose their fortunes within a few years. Their downfall isn't due to a lack of money. It's a lack of wisdom. Without the understanding of how to budget, invest, and plan, even the largest sums can slip away. Solomon's teachings challenge us to do more than simply work for wealth. He calls us to approach money with purpose and intentionality. Financial education helps us take practical steps toward stability. Budget with purpose. A budget isn't a restriction. It's a plan for aligning spending with values and goals. It ensures that every dollar works towards something meaningful. Invest wisely. Understanding concepts like the power of compounding, diversification, and long-term strategies allows us to make informed decisions that grow wealth steadily over time. Manage debt effectively. Debt can be a significant obstacle to financial freedom. By avoiding high-interest loans and creating repayment strategies, we free ourselves from unnecessary financial burdens. To elevate your financial journey further, Solomon's wisdom points us toward an entrepreneurial mindset. This doesn't mean you need to launch a large corporation. It's about embracing a proactive, creative approach to opportunities and taking control of your financial destiny. In Proverbs 6:6-8, Solomon encourages us to learn from the ant. "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." The ant acts with diligence and foresight, preparing for the future without waiting for external direction. Similarly, an entrepreneurial mindset calls us to take initiative. It encourages us to diversify income streams, use our talents to generate opportunities, and think creatively about how to build resilience. For example, you might turn a passion or skill into a small side business or explore investments that align with your long-term goals. Entrepreneurship isn't just about financial gain. It's about cultivating resilience, adaptability, and independence. When we combine financial literacy with an entrepreneurial mindset, we unlock the ability to weather life's uncertainties. More importantly, we align our efforts with God's wisdom, positioning ourselves to steward resources faithfully and build a legacy of purpose and abundance. Adversity often holds within it the seeds of transformation. Financial setbacks, whether it's the loss of a job, unexpected expenses, or navigating an economic downturn, can feel crushing in the moment. These challenges test our resolve, shake our confidence, and leave us searching for answers. Yet, it is often in these very moments of difficulty that God invites us to grow, learn, and step into a new season of opportunity. Proverbs 24:10 offers us this powerful reminder. "If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength?" This verse doesn't condemn us for feeling weak. Rather, it challenges us to rise above our circumstances. Challenges are not the end. They are the beginning of something greater. Adversity forces us to reevaluate, to lean on God's wisdom, and to develop the resilience needed to thrive in a changing world. History and scripture are filled with stories of individuals who turned trials into triumphs. Consider Joseph, who rose from slavery and imprisonment to become a leader in Egypt. His faith, coupled with bold decisions and God's guidance, transformed what seemed like a hopeless situation into one of incredible influence and blessing. Similarly, in our lives, financial challenges can serve as catalysts for reinvention. They push us out of our comfort zones, forcing us to think creatively, explore new opportunities, and build the skills and habits that lead to lasting success. When we face adversity with faith and determination, we discover strength we didn't know we had. Through these experiences, God refines us, preparing us for the blessings He has in store. Adversity is not a dead end. It's a doorway to growth, resilience, and transformation. Will you step through it? King Solomon, in his unmatched wisdom, paints a vivid picture of the importance of diligence in Proverbs 13:4. The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. This verse reminds us that true success is not handed to us. It is earned through steady, intentional effort. While it's natural to dream of a better future, dreams alone are not enough. It is the consistent, purposeful steps we take each day that turn aspirations into reality. Even the smallest actions, when repeated faithfully, compound over time to create extraordinary results. However, persistence is about more than just working hard. It's about faith and resilience. There will be days when progress feels slow, when setbacks seem overwhelming, or when giving up feels like the easiest option. Yet Galatians 6:9 urges us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This verse encourages us to stay the course, trusting that our efforts are not in vain. Just as a farmer patiently waits for the harvest after planting seeds, we too must persevere, even when the results aren't immediately visible. Persistence is also about aligning our actions with God's will. It's trusting that He is at work behind the scenes, multiplying our efforts in ways we may not yet see. When we combine diligent effort with faith, we unlock the strength to keep going, knowing that God's timing is perfect. True success comes to those who persevere with purpose, leaning on faith to guide them through challenges. With diligence and trust in God, the harvest we long for will come in its proper time. Keep going. Your breakthrough may be closer than you think. The journey to financial wisdom and stability begins with a single powerful decision: to take intentional steps toward a better future. Financial health doesn't happen by accident. It requires purposeful planning, consistent effort, and a mindset focused on growth and stewardship. The first step is to evaluate your finances. Take an honest look at your income, expenses, and any debts you carry. Understanding where you stand financially is essential for making informed decisions. This step is about clarity, not judgment, and it lays the foundation for meaningful change. Next, create a budget that aligns with your values and goals. A budget isn't about restriction, it's about empowerment. By assigning every dollar a purpose, you ensure that your resources work for you, whether that's paying off debt, saving for the future, or investing in opportunities that bring long-term rewards. Building an emergency fund is a crucial part of financial stability. Start small if necessary, but aim to save enough to cover 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. This financial cushion not only provides peace of mind, but also protects you from relying on high-interest loans or credit cards during unexpected challenges. Investing in financial education is another key step. Knowledge is power, and understanding how money works equips you to manage it wisely. Learn about budgeting, debt management, and investing. Explore resources like books, podcasts, and online courses that teach practical strategies for building wealth. Seek out mentorship and community to support your journey. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who value financial literacy and share your commitment to growth. Mentors and supportive communities can offer guidance, encouragement, and accountability, helping you stay on track even when challenges arise. Finally, stay persistent. Progress doesn't come from one-time actions, but from consistent, purposeful effort. Whether it's making small sacrifices to save, saying no to unnecessary expenses, or committing to learning a new skill, every intentional step moves you closer to financial freedom. Remember, this journey is not just about money, it's about aligning your resources with your purpose and values. By taking these steps, you are not only creating financial stability but also honoring God's call to steward His blessings wisely. Stay focused, stay faithful, and watch as your intentionality leads to lasting prosperity. Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts, acknowledging that every good and perfect gift comes from you. We ask for your wisdom as we navigate our financial journey. Teach us to make decisions that align with your purpose. Help us to steward our resources with integrity, to give generously, and to trust in your provision. May our efforts reflect your glory, and may our journey inspire others to walk in faith and wisdom. Strengthen us in moments of doubt, and remind us that true prosperity lies in you. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. This journey isn't just about wealth. It's about living with purpose, resilience, and faith. True prosperity begins when we trust in God's guidance, take intentional steps, and align our resources with His plan. Together, we can embrace opportunities, walk in divine alignment, and build a legacy that honors Him. If this message has resonated with you, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. What's your next step? Declare your commitment or share how you are pursuing financial wisdom and purpose. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining our community, you'll find encouragement, practical insights, and inspiring stories that will help you grow in faith and purpose. Together, let's walk the path to true abundance and trust in the breakthrough God has planned for us. Thank you for being part of this journey. Your presence here is a blessing. There is a power moving in the unseen, a force far greater than any human mind can comprehend. To be chosen by God is not simply a title. It is a divine appointment, a sacred calling that sets you apart. But with that calling comes a battle. A spiritual war rages, often invisible to the naked eye, where the forces of darkness plot and scheme, believing they can bring down God's anointed. They think they are untouchable. They weave webs of lies, deceit, and malice, convinced their plots will bury you. But here's the unshakable truth. You were never fighting alone. The very heavens are aligned in your favor, and those who rise against you unknowingly sign their own spiritual death warrant. Let this be a wake-up call. Messing with a chosen one is not just picking a fight, it is challenging the authority of the Most High, and that is a battle no one can win. God has a way of allowing the wicked to dig their own graves while they try to destroy the righteous. Statistics say that 92% of those who conspire against others eventually face severe consequences, whether through karma, divine justice, or their own downfall. But here's the divine twist. When someone targets a chosen one, those odds jump to 100%. This isn't superstition. It's spiritual law. And today, we are going to uncover exactly why the chosen are untouchable, why the enemies of God's people always fall, and how divine justice unfolds with precise and devastating accuracy. Energy is like a mirror. What people project into the world comes back to them, often magnified. But when someone targets a chosen one, this reflection becomes lethal. Hatred, envy, deceit. These dark energies don't just vanish, they gather momentum, grow in strength, and come crashing back upon the sender, destroying them from within. They think they're aiming at you, but they're only setting themselves up for destruction. God's anointed walk with a spiritual immunity, an invisible armor that not only shields them, but actively returns negativity to its source. This isn't passive protection, it's an active force. The more hatred they send, the stronger the backlash. The trap they set for you becomes the pit they fall into. What they fail to understand is this: their attacks are tainted by their own darkness. The hatred, fear, and brokenness they project only amplify when it returns, tearing their lives apart. Their obsession with harming you becomes their undoing. They're not battling you. They're battling their own demons, amplified by their own intentions. And you walk forward, untouched, while they burn in the very fire they lit. Divine justice is never random. It is precise, intentional, and perfectly executed. God does not act out of impulse or emotion. He moves with strategy and purpose. Every lie told, every betrayal committed, and every malicious scheme crafted against you is met with a response so deliberate and exact that it leaves no room for doubt. It is clearly divine in origin. God sees everything. He is never caught off guard. Long before your enemies begin to plot, God already knows their plans. He watches every hidden move, every whispered lie, and every dark intention. Yet, in His wisdom, God doesn't always stop them immediately. Sometimes He allows them to continue, to become more confident in their wicked ways, believing they are succeeding. Why? Because in their arrogance, they unknowingly build the very structure of their own downfall, brick by brick. The weapons they carefully form to harm you do not vanish. Instead, they are turned against them. Their lies become the trap that ensnares them. Their betrayal isolates them. Their deceit poisons their own relationships. God allows their actions to unfold until the perfect moment arrives, and then He strikes with precision. God's justice is not broad or general. It is deeply personal and perfectly tailored. For some, their punishment comes through the loss of power, status, and influence. For others, it manifests in broken relationships, financial ruin, failing health, or even a loss of mental peace. Whatever they value most becomes the very thing that crumbles. The unraveling is specific, deliberate, and leaves no doubt that their suffering is the result of divine intervention. For the chosen, this is a powerful reminder. You do not need to fight. You don't have to defend yourself, seek revenge, or lower yourself to their level. God's justice operates beyond anything you could do. He fights for you with a force that no human can withstand. Your very existence is a direct threat to darkness. As a chosen one, you carry a powerful spiritual light that naturally disrupts anything built on lies, manipulation, and deceit. Without even trying, your presence exposes the hidden toxicity in others, their insecurities, their false intentions, and their unhealed wounds. You are like an antidote to poison, neutralizing the darkness that others try to spread. This isn't something you asked for. It's not something you can turn off or hide. It's simply who you are. The light within you was placed there by God, and it shines brightly whether you speak or stay silent. That light forces people to confront the darkness within themselves. For some, this confrontation sparks deep reflection and transformation. They recognize their flaws and begin the difficult journey toward healing and growth. But for others, this reflection is unbearable. They are unwilling to face their own brokenness, and instead of changing, they choose to fight against your light. They lash out. They try to dim your glow, attacking you with gossip, lies, jealousy, and hatred. But here's the divine truth. Every attempt to harm you only backfires. Their hatred doesn't weaken you. It magnifies their own inner chaos. The more they try to hurt you, the more they become entangled in their own darkness. They don't realize that their anger and bitterness are consuming them from within. Their energy becomes wasted on a losing battle, while you continue to rise, untouched and unshaken. You don't need to fight back. Your light, your presence, and your purpose are more than enough. And that, for them, is the most unbearable truth of all. When someone becomes obsessed with the chosen one, they unknowingly set themselves on a path of slow and inevitable destruction. Obsession is not just an emotion. It's a toxic poison that seeps into every corner of their mind and soul. It often begins subtly, with small sparks of jealousy and envy. But over time, those sparks ignite into an uncontrollable fire that consumes them from the inside out. Instead of focusing on their own growth, success, and happiness, they become completely consumed by thoughts of your downfall. Every moment they spend plotting against you is a moment stolen from their own progress. They cannot celebrate their own victories because they are too focused on trying to prevent yours. Their days become filled with bitterness, their nights restless with thoughts of how to bring you down. But here's the divine irony. While they waste away in hatred, you continue to rise. God's favor lifts you higher, guiding you forward, untouched and unbothered. No matter how hard they try to harm you, their efforts crumble, and it is their own life that begins to fall apart. Their closest relationships start to suffer. Friends and family grow distant as their toxic obsession pushes people away. Their inner peace shatters, leaving them anxious, restless, and empty. Even their physical health begins to decline under the weight of constant stress and anger. This obsession becomes a self-inflicted wound that never heals. They slowly spiral into a spiritual death, consumed by the very hatred they refuse to release. In the end, their downfall isn't caused by you. It's the result of their own poisoned heart. All because they couldn't let go. They walk with confidence, believing they are the hunters, carefully stalking their prey, setting traps, and weaving lies to bring you down. But what they fail to realize is that God is the true master of the battlefield. While they plot in secrecy, God is already many steps ahead, turning their own schemes into traps designed for their downfall. Every lie they whisper, every deceitful plan they craft, is carefully woven into the very net that God is preparing for them. In His infinite wisdom, God allows their arrogance to grow, letting them believe they are winning, feeding their pride so they become blind to the danger they are walking into. They see their plans unfolding and assume they have gained the upper hand, never realizing that each step forward is another step closer to their own destruction. And then, when the time is right, the trap snaps shut. God's judgment is not rushed. It is patient, deliberate, and perfectly timed. But when it finally comes, it is complete and devastating. Their alliances, once so strong, crumble. The people they relied on for support turn away. Their carefully built plans collapse like sandcastles under a rising tide. The very weapons they formed to destroy you become the tools of their own ruin. They thought they were clever, digging a pit for you to fall into. But in the end, it is they who tumble into the darkness they created. Their downfall is not by accident. It is the result of divine justice. God will not be mocked. Those who plot against His chosen will always fall victim to the traps they set for others. Those who plot against you believe they're simply targeting another person, someone they can manipulate, intimidate, or overpower. But what they fail to realize is that they are stepping into a battle far beyond their understanding. You are surrounded by an invisible shield, not of luck or coincidence, but of divine protection crafted by the hands of God Himself. This shield is not fragile, it is unbreakable, forged through spiritual armor that deflects every attack aimed your way. No weapon formed against you can prosper because your protection is rooted in something eternal. God's timing is always perfect, ensuring that you are always one step ahead, safely guided away from harm and placed exactly where you need to be. But your protection doesn't stop there. Generations before you have spoken blessings and prayers over your life, words of protection, strength, and favor. These prayers are like deep roots, anchoring you firmly through every storm. They create a foundation so strong that no attack can shake you. Your enemies don't understand this. They think they are fighting you, but in reality, they are waging war against divine forces far greater than anything they can comprehend. They strike blindly, unaware that every move they make is blocked, intercepted, and turned back on them by powers they cannot see. They cannot touch you because they are fighting a force they will never understand, a force that cannot be defeated. God stands before you, beside you, and behind you, and no human scheme can break through His protection. You are not just another person walking through this world. You are sacred territory, set apart, and divinely protected. To rise against you is not simply a personal attack. It is a direct violation of spiritual law, an offense against God's divine authority. Those who plot against you fail to realize that they are not merely challenging you. They are trespassing on holy ground, stepping into a realm where they have no power and no right to stand. And make no mistake, God does not take this lightly. The one who called you, anointed you, and placed His hand upon your life will not stand idly by while enemies attempt to harm you. Their actions carry consequences that are both swift and severe. One by one, the foundations of their lives begin to crumble. Their health weakens, their peace disappears, their relationships fracture, and their carefully laid plans fall apart. The more they push, the harder they fall. Their relentless pursuit to harm you only accelerates their own destruction. Every step they take against you brings them closer to the consequences they cannot escape. They believe they were battling a person, a human they could intimidate or overpower. But what they fail to understand is that they have challenged God Himself. And no one who fights against God can ever win. So stand firm and unshaken. You are protected, not by chance, but by divine design. Every attack against you is met with divine justice, and those who dare to cross that sacred boundary will answer to a power far greater than themselves. They might look like they're winning right now. Their schemes seem to be working, and it may even appear that they are getting away with their actions. But don't be fooled. God's timing is flawless. Divine justice doesn't rush, but it never arrives late. Every move they make is already known. Every hidden motive already exposed before the throne of God. He is watching, waiting for the perfect moment to act. And when that moment comes, it will be more powerful and more precise than anything they could have ever prepared for. What they celebrate as victory is nothing more than the calm before the storm. God allows them to move forward, to grow more confident in their wicked ways, not because He is absent, but because His patience is a space for repentance. His delay is not weakness, it is mercy. He gives them time to change, to turn away from their wrongdoings. But if they refuse, if they continue down the path of destruction, judgment will come. And when it does, it will be swift, undeniable, and unstoppable. Their carefully built plans will crumble. Their false confidence will turn into panic. Every weapon they formed against you will break in their own hands. The power they thought they had will vanish like smoke. God's justice is absolute. No one can outrun it. No one can hide from it. And when it finally comes, it will strike exactly where it hurts the most, leaving no doubt that it was God who brought it to pass. So stay patient, stay faithful. The storm is coming, and God will not be mocked. Let them plot, let them scheme, because every attack against you only brings them closer to their own destruction. You are not alone. You are protected by forces greater than anything they can comprehend. Your strength isn't in retaliation, but in your alignment with divine purpose. You are covered, shielded, and upheld by the Most High. Stay strong, stay faithful, and remember, the battle is already won. If this message has stirred your spirit, don't forget to subscribe, share this truth, and join this growing community of warriors walking in divine power. The best is yet to come. Stay blessed, and may this season bring you peace, joy, and the overflow of God's favor. Chosen ones, what I am about to reveal may surprise you. It may even shake you to your core. Deep within, you have always felt different, as if there was something special about you that others couldn't understand. If you are watching this video, know this: it is not a coincidence. You are here for a reason. Your childhood was anything but ordinary. There were moments, signs, and experiences that carried a divine message, even if you didn't recognize them at the time. You were chosen from the very beginning, marked for a purpose far greater than you could have imagined. This video will help you remember what has been hidden from you and awaken you to your true identity. So, I urge you, watch this video until the end. What I am about to share will open your eyes and bring a spiritual awakening that will change your life forever. Before we begin, I need you to do 3 things. Number 1, like this video, so more chosen ones can find it. Number 2, subscribe to our channel. Let's grow this community to 30,000 strong. Number 3, comment 99. This number carries powerful energy that will magnify this message. If you are truly chosen, you will feel it in your soul. This message was meant for you. Now, let us embark on this journey together to uncover your divine purpose. From the moment you were born, you were different. The signs were there, subtle, yet powerful. The world may not have noticed, but God did. He set you apart, marking you for something greater, something far beyond the ordinary. While others lived without questioning, you always felt there was more. More to life, more to your existence, more to the world around you. Even as a child, you may have felt out of place, as if you didn't quite belong. While other children played and laughed without a care, you were drawn to deeper thoughts. Perhaps you sat quietly, observing the world, trying to understand things beyond what others could see. Maybe you questioned life in ways that even adults struggled to answer. You may have often asked yourself, why am I here? What is my true purpose? Why do I think differently than everyone else? At times, this difference may have made you feel lonely, like no one truly understood you. But let me tell you this, it was never a weakness. That feeling of being different, of being set apart, was a divine sign. It was God's way of showing you that you were meant for something greater. Ephesians 1:4 tells us, "For he chose us in Christ before the foundation of the world. In his love he predestined us to be holy and without blemish." From the very start, God placed his hand upon you, guiding your steps even when you didn't realize it. Those moments of isolation were preparation, not punishment. They shaped you, molded you, and set you on a path toward your higher calling. Looking back, you may see now that those times when you felt different, when you felt like an outsider, were actually moments of divine positioning. God was aligning your spirit with his purpose, whispering to your soul that you were meant for more. So do not see your past as a burden. See it as a blessing. You were never meant to fit in. You were chosen to stand out. And now the time has come for you to embrace your divine purpose and step fully into the calling that has been upon your life since the very beginning. Number 1. You always felt different. While others fit in easily, you often felt like an outsider. You saw the world differently, thought differently, and questioned things that others never even considered. While many were content with surface-level conversations and simple pleasures, you were drawn to deeper truths. Your mind was always searching, always seeking something more, because it was divinely guided. You may have struggled to connect with peers, not because you lacked social skills, but because your thoughts and spirit were always focused on something bigger. Even from a young age, you found yourself contemplating the meaning of life, the mysteries of the universe, and the presence of God. While others were preoccupied with temporary things, you were drawn to truth, wisdom, and spiritual matters. At times, this difference may have felt lonely. You may have wondered, why don't I think like everyone else? Why do I feel so different? But let me tell you this, your uniqueness was never an accident. It was a calling. Jeremiah 29:11 reassures us, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God created you to stand out, not to blend in. The way your mind works, the way your heart feels, the way your spirit longs for something greater, it's all part of his divine design. You were set apart for a reason. Embrace your uniqueness, because it is the key to your purpose. The world needs people like you, those who see beyond the ordinary, who ask the deeper questions, and who seek the truth that leads to God. Number 2. You had a strong sense of empathy. From childhood, you felt deeply for others. You could sense when someone was hurting, even when they said nothing at all. Their pain weighed on your heart as if it were your own, and their happiness lifted your spirit as if you were the one experiencing it. This was not just sensitivity or a personality trait. It was a divine gift, a reflection of God's love working through you. Empathy is one of the clearest signs of a chosen one. It means that God has entrusted you with the ability to heal, to comfort, and to guide others toward Him. While the world may see empathy as a burden, in God's eyes, it is a calling. He placed this gift in you so that you could bear the burdens of others, not as a weight to crush you, but as a mission to bring light and love to those who need it most. Galatians 6:2 reminds us, bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Your ability to feel deeply is not a flaw. It is a sign that God has called you to serve. Perhaps you found yourself drawn to those who are struggling, offering a listening ear, a kind word, or silent support. Maybe you've wondered why you care so much when others seem indifferent. It's because you were chosen to be different. Your compassion was never weakness. It was your strength. It is the evidence of God's hand upon your life, shaping you into someone who reflects His love. Do not run from it. Embrace it. The world needs more hearts like yours. Number 3. You had deep, meaningful dreams. God speaks to His chosen ones in many ways, and one of the most powerful is through dreams. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so intense, that it felt more real than anything else? Have you ever dreamt of something, only to see it unfold in real life days, weeks, or even years later? If so, know this: these were not coincidences. They were divine messages, carefully placed in your heart by God Himself. In Matthew 1:20-21, we see a powerful example of this. But while he thought about these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. Just as God spoke to Joseph, guiding him toward his divine purpose, He still speaks to His chosen ones today. Some dreams bring warnings, preparing you for what's ahead. Others bring clarity, giving you peace in times of uncertainty. Some may even reveal glimpses of the future, awakening you to a deeper spiritual understanding. If you have ever had a dream that stayed with you, one that whispered a truth into your soul, one that felt like more than just imagination, know that it was not random. It was God communicating with you, reminding you that He is guiding your steps. Pay attention to these moments. Pray for understanding. God is revealing something important to you. Are you listening? Number 4. You experience divine protection. Think back. Have there been moments in your life where danger was near, yet somehow you were spared? Times when a situation should have ended badly, yet everything turned around in ways you couldn't explain? Have you ever looked back at a moment in your past and realized that you shouldn't have made it through, but you did? These moments were not coincidences. They were not luck. They were divine intervention. Psalm 34:7 reminds us, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear Him, and He delivers them." This means that God has been watching over you from the very beginning. You were never truly alone, even when you felt lost. His hand was always upon you, protecting you in ways you didn't even realize at the time. Perhaps there were days when you wondered, how did I get through that? The answer is simple. God was with you. The enemy may have tried to bring harm into your life, but God's protection was greater. Every time you were saved from unseen danger, every time an opportunity opened when it should have closed, every time you found strength when you should have been broken, those were signs that God was watching over you. Even in the darkest times, even when you doubted, even when you felt abandoned, He never left you. His angels were encamped around you, shielding you from harm. And now, as you step into your divine calling, know this: the same God who protected you then is still with you now. Number 5. You had an unexplainable connection to God. From a young age, you felt drawn to God. Maybe you couldn't explain it, but deep inside, you knew He was real. It was as if His presence surrounded you, guiding you in ways you didn't fully understand. While others went about their lives without thinking much about faith, you felt something deeper. A longing, a connection, an unshakable awareness that there was more to this world than what the eyes could see. At times, you may have felt an urge to pray, even when you didn't know why. Perhaps you found yourself talking to God in moments of uncertainty, seeking His presence when you were alone. And when you did, you experienced a peace that went beyond understanding, a calm assurance that no matter what happened, He was with you. Jeremiah 29:12 12 to 13 tells us, "You will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart." This means your desire for God was never random. It was a divine relationship, one that had been with you since childhood. That connection has always been there, a quiet but powerful presence in your life. It was God's way of reminding you that you were never alone, that He had a purpose for you, and that He was calling you closer to Him. Now it is time to embrace that calling, to nurture that relationship, and to walk confidently in the purpose He has set before you. Everything you have experienced, your loneliness, your deep thoughts, your sensitivity, your vivid dreams, and your unshakable connection to God, was never random. Every moment of doubt, every unanswered question, every feeling of being different was not a mistake. It was preparation. James 1:2-4 reminds us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing." This means that nothing you have endured was in vain. Every trial strengthened you. Every tear watered the seeds of wisdom in your soul, and every hardship refined you like gold in the fire. Your struggles were never meant to break you. They were meant to build you. The pain you felt was shaping you. The moments of rejection were setting you apart. The challenges were molding you into the person God designed you to be. What once seemed like obstacles were actually stepping stones leading you closer to your divine purpose. Now the question is, will you embrace it? Will you allow everything you have endured to fuel your faith, to step forward with confidence, knowing that you were chosen for something greater? The time has come to walk boldly into the life God has prepared for you. Your journey was never meant to end in struggle. It was always meant to lead to victory. Now that you understand the truth, the question is, what will you do with it? Knowing that you are chosen is not just about awareness, it is about action. God did not set you apart without a reason. He did not place this calling upon your life for it to remain dormant. He chose you to be a light in the darkness, a messenger of His love, and a vessel for His divine purpose. You are here to make a difference, to bring hope where there is despair, and to shine in a world that desperately needs God's presence. John 15:16 declares, "You did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, fruit that will last." This means your calling is not temporary or insignificant. It is eternal. You were chosen to bear fruit, to impact lives, to spread truth, to walk in faith, and to bring others closer to God. This is not just a privilege, it is a responsibility. Now, it is time to step into your divine purpose. No more doubting, no more waiting. The same God who called you will equip you. He will guide you, strengthen you, and lead you toward everything He has prepared for you. The world needs the gifts He has placed inside you. Will you answer the call? Will you rise and walk in the purpose for which you were created? The choice is yours. But remember, you were chosen for such a time as this. If this message has resonated with you, if you recognize these signs in your own life, know this: you are not alone. Many others just like you are awakening to their true purpose. You are part of a greater plan, a divine movement unfolding before our eyes. So, take this message to heart. Embrace it, live it, and share it with those who need to hear it. You were chosen for something extraordinary, something beyond what you can imagine. Now is the time to step forward in faith and claim the purpose that God has placed upon your life. If you are ready to walk in your divine calling, type 99 in the comments. Let this be your declaration of faith and alignment with God's plan. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for answering the call. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a message meant for you. Together, we are stronger. Together, we will fulfill our purpose. Listen, chosen ones. The veil between heaven and earth is thinner than you think. The unseen realm is closer than your mind can comprehend. The 4 angels have been watching, waiting, and preparing for this moment. This is not a call given by chance, nor were you born into this time without purpose. You have felt it, the pull, the weight, the knowing that you are different, that you are set apart, that your soul does not align with the patterns of this world. You have questioned why your journey has been so intense. You have wondered why people misunderstand you, why suffering has followed you like a shadow, why you see things others do not. The answer is simple. You were chosen before the foundation of the world to walk a path only a few can carry. You have been trained in the fire, refined through trials, and prepared for an hour such as this. Now heaven has sent them, the 4 angels. They do not come with empty words, but with divine revelation. Secrets that will unlock the doors that have remained closed in your understanding. Words that will shake your spirit awake and call forth the destiny that has been waiting for you to step into it. But be warned. These words are not for the faint-hearted. They are not for those who cling to the comfort of the crowd. They are for you, the 144,000, the remnant, the ones who know in their bones that they were made for more. The 4 angels have arrived, and they bring 4 messages. Each one is a revelation. Each one is an awakening. Each one is a call to rise. Message 1. Look into your life. The first angel descends, his presence shaking the very fabric of reality. His voice thunders through the heavens, cutting through every illusion, every falsehood, every deception that has kept you bound. His words are not gentle. They are a sword, dividing truth from lies, awakening you from the slumber of this world. The world has lied to you. From the moment you opened your eyes to this world, you were conditioned to believe in a life that was never meant for you. You were handed a script, told how to think, how to behave, how to measure your worth. The systems of men whispered their illusions into your ears, false hopes, empty pursuits, meaningless struggles disguised as purpose. They led you down paths that were never yours, convincing you to spend your days chasing after things that do not matter. They told you that success was the goal, that wealth would bring you peace, that recognition would fill the void inside you. But what have these things truly given you? Do you not see the deception? The endless pursuit of things that never satisfy? The hunger that remains no matter how much you consume? You have been trained to exhaust yourself in a race that leads to nowhere, striving for approval from those who do not even see you, working tirelessly for rewards that turn to dust in your hands. Now look into your life. Strip away the distractions, silence the noise, let go of every expectation, every false belief, every empty promise that has kept you bound. What remains? Chosen one, you were never meant to fit into this world. That restless feeling inside of you, the sense that something is missing, that you do not belong, that no matter what you do, you cannot seem to find peace. It is not a curse. It is a sign. The reason you feel disconnected is because your spirit was never designed to be trapped by the lies of men. You have always known deep down that something was off, that the way the world works does not feel right, that the things people chase after do not truly matter. You have sensed the illusion, even if you could not fully name it. The world told you to chase success, but success was a cage. The world told you to seek validation, but validation was a leash. The world told you to follow their path, but their path led to emptiness. Do you see it now? You were never meant to bow to a broken system. You were never meant to be controlled by the opinions of the blind. You were never meant to trade your divine calling for temporary pleasures that drain your soul. That is why you feel like an outsider. That is why you have never truly fit in. That is why the things that satisfy others leave you feeling empty, because you were set apart from the beginning. But knowing this is not enough. You must act. To awaken fully, you must be willing to let go of the illusions that still grip you. Every lie you hold on to will keep you bound. Every false belief you refuse to release will keep you asleep. This is your moment of reckoning. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What habits, relationships, and mindsets have been keeping you asleep? Look deeply. Be honest with yourself. The truth is waiting for you, but it cannot be received by those who still cling to deception. Heaven is waiting for your answer. You must decide. Will you remain entangled in the falsehoods of this world, or will you awaken to the truth? The first revelation has been given. Now, you must act. Message 2. Stand apart. The second angel descends, and the very air trembles beneath the weight of his words. His presence is overwhelming, his voice like fire that burns away every doubt, every insecurity, every lingering desire to belong where you were never meant to fit in. Do you not see? The world does not love you because it was never meant to. You have felt it, haven't you? The rejection, the isolation, the loneliness, the misunderstanding. You have carried the weight of being different, of walking a path that few understand. You have wondered why you never truly fit in, why people look at you with suspicion, why they mock you, exclude you, push you to the side. But listen carefully, chosen one. It was never random. The world cannot recognize you because your spirit does not belong to it. The moment you stepped into your divine identity, you became unrecognizable to those who are still bound by the illusions of this world. They sense what you are, even if they do not understand it. You are marked for something higher, and the darkness knows it. The enemy has seen your light from the moment you were born. He has watched you, knowing that you were dangerous to his kingdom. That is why you have been attacked. That is why you have been slandered. That is why people have turned against you, even when you did nothing to deserve it. You have walked alone not because you were forgotten, but because you were chosen. But listen, chosen one. Your loneliness was preparation. Every rejection, every betrayal, every moment of isolation was not a punishment. It was refinement. The fire you endured was stripping away every false dependency, every need for human approval, every desire to conform. You were not meant to live for the acceptance of men. You were meant to stand before God. The world has tried to make you feel like an outcast, like you were unworthy, like there was something wrong with you. But they were afraid of you. They feared your light. They feared the way you carried truth. They feared the way you walked into a room and shifted the atmosphere without saying a word. They saw something in you that you had not yet seen in yourself. And so they tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to make you question whether you truly had a place. But the time for apologizing is over. The time for shrinking yourself to make others comfortable is over. The time for dimming your light is over. You were never sent here to be liked. You were sent here to disrupt. So stand apart. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them stare. Their opinions do not matter. You have spent too long trying to explain yourself to those who will never understand you. You have exhausted yourself seeking acceptance from people who were never meant to see you. You have questioned yourself when you should have been standing boldly in who you are. Enough. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to be set apart. This is not a punishment. This is your calling. The world does not reject its own. It rejects those who do not belong to it. And you, chosen one, were never meant to belong. So stop trying. Stop doubting. Stop questioning whether you should change yourself to fit into a world that was never designed for you. You were chosen. You were called. You were sent. The second revelation has been given. Now, you must embrace it. Message 3. Obey without delay. The third angel descends, and the atmosphere shifts. His presence is heavy, filled with urgency. The heavens tremble as his voice cuts through the hesitation that has kept you bound. There is no softness in his tone, no room for doubt, only a command that pierces your soul like lightning. Enough waiting, enough second-guessing, enough asking for another sign. You already know what you are meant to do. Now do it. How long have you waited, chosen one? How many nights have you spent wondering if you are truly called? How many signs have you received only to question them the next day? You have felt the pull. You have heard the whispers. You have seen the signs written in your circumstances, in your dreams, in the depths of your spirit. And yet, you hesitate. You wonder if you are ready. You question if you have what it takes. You tell yourself that you need more clarity, more confirmation, more proof before you move. But hear this now. Delay is the enemy's greatest weapon against you. Every moment you wait, doubt takes root. Every moment you hesitate, fear gains power. Every moment you stay still, doors close that were meant to be yours. You think you are being careful, that you are waiting for the perfect moment. But there will never be a perfect moment. The enemy wants you trapped in hesitation, paralyzed by uncertainty, waiting for a sign that has already been given. Yes, the road ahead is uncertain. Yes, stepping into the unknown is terrifying. But listen, your obedience will unlock miracles. You have prayed for answers, for direction, for breakthrough. But what if the answer has already been given? What if the miracle you seek will not come in the way you expect, but through your movement, through your faith, through your willingness to act, even when you do not see the whole picture? The provision you need will not come before you move. It will meet you on the road of obedience. Do you understand? You must step first. Then the path will unfold. Abraham did not see the promised land before he left his home. Moses did not see the Red Sea part before he lifted his staff. Peter did not see the water hold him before he stepped out of the boat. Faith has always required movement. You cannot wait until you feel ready, because you will never feel ready. Readiness is a lie that keeps you stagnant. Those who are called never feel fully prepared, but they move anyway. This is your moment. This is your turning point. The choice is before you. Will you let fear dictate your future? Will you allow hesitation to rob you of your calling? Or will you rise in faith, step forward, and trust that heaven will meet you where you go? The third revelation has been given. Now you must step forward. Message 4. Speak the truth. The fourth angel descends and fire pours from his lips. His presence ignites the air, his voice carrying the weight of eternity. The heavens seem to tremble as he speaks, and the earth itself responds to the power of his words. Your voice will shake the earth. You were not given eyes to see just for yourself. You were not given wisdom to keep silent. You were not given truth to keep it locked inside your heart. You were given sight so you could speak. You were given wisdom so you could reveal. You were given truth so you could declare it to the world. Now, open your mouth, chosen one. For too long, the enemy has tried to silence you. He has whispered lies into your mind, telling you that your words do not matter, that no one will listen, that no one will care, that your voice is too small, too insignificant, too powerless to make a difference. But listen to the truth now. Your voice was anointed before you were born. Before you took your first breath, heaven placed a calling upon you. Your words were destined to break chains. Your testimony was meant to set captives free. Your voice was never meant to be small. It was meant to echo across the earth, to awaken the sleeping, to call forth the chosen, to declare that the kingdom of heaven is near. And yet, you have held back. You have hesitated. You have questioned yourself. You have wondered if you should remain silent, if you should keep the truth to yourself, if you should wait for a time when it feels safer to speak. But there will never be a safer time. Do not whisper when you were meant to roar. Do not hide when you were meant to stand. You do not speak to please. You do not speak to be accepted. You speak to break chains. You speak to awaken. You speak because you were sent. The world is drowning in deception, and the enemy has worked tirelessly to keep the truth suppressed. If you do not speak, who will? If you do not rise, who will take your place? This is not just about you. There are people waiting for the words that only you can speak. There are souls in darkness who will never find the light unless you are bold enough to shine it. There are captives whose chains will never be broken unless you open your mouth and declare the truth. Heaven has given you a voice, and now heaven is commanding you to use it. The fourth revelation has been given. Now you must proclaim it. These messages have been delivered, and you have heard them. The words have stirred something deep within you, awakening what has long been dormant. But now, You must decide. To delay is to deny. To hesitate is to surrender ground to the enemy. You would not be drawn to these words if you were not meant to hear them. You would not feel this stirring in your soul if you were not part of something greater. This is your confirmation. This is your call. This is your moment. The time for waiting is over. The time for questioning is done. Heaven has spoken, and heaven is waiting for your response. Will you shrink back, or will you step forward? Will you remain in doubt, or will you rise in faith? Will you stay silent, or will you speak the truth that was placed inside of you? The four angels have spoken. The path has been revealed. The choice is yours. Now, chosen one, will you rise? Amen and amen. If these words have ignited something in your spirit, if you feel the call to step into your purpose, do not keep this message to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that more chosen ones can awaken. Leave a comment below and declare, I will rise. Together, we will shake the earth. The time is now. This is not just another message. It is a divine appointment. If you have clicked on this video, it is not by accident. You were led here for a reason. Something deep within you has been stirring, a call, a whisper, a pull towards something greater. Perhaps you can't explain it, but you feel it. A longing, a knowing, an urgency that won't go away. The world around you moves forward as if nothing is happening, as if everything is just the way it's always been. But you know better. You see what others ignore. You sense what most dismiss. You have always been different. Maybe you've spent years searching for answers, feeling out of place, unable to shake the feeling that there is more. More to this life, more to your purpose, more than what you've been told. Or maybe deep inside, you've always known that you were meant for something bigger. This message is for the chosen ones. And if you are one of them, you will feel it. But let me be clear, it is not for everyone. Most will scroll past. Some will dismiss these words without a second thought. Many will feel the pull but will be too afraid to answer. But not you, because something inside you won't let you turn away. If your heart is beating a little faster, if your spirit is stirring, if something within you is whispering, "This is for me," then stay. Because you were meant to hear this. It is an awakening message, a reminder of who you really are. The world has tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you are just like everyone else. But the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to rise, to awaken, to walk in the fullness of your calling. Now, the time has come. This is your confirmation. You are not here by mistake. You are here because God is calling you, and what you're about to hear will change everything. Chapter 1. The Invisible War. We are at war. Not the kind that can be seen with human eyes, not a battle fought with guns and armies, but a war far older, far greater, and far more dangerous. This is a spiritual war, a battle waged in the unseen realm, where forces of darkness seek to control, deceive, and destroy. Most people don't realize it's happening. They move through life unaware, distracted by the noise of the world, convinced that their struggles are purely physical, bad luck, misfortune, coincidence. But you see more. You feel it. You have sensed the weight pressing down on your soul, the constant battles in your mind, the fear, the doubt, the exhaustion that seems to drain you even when you're standing still. This is not just life. This is war. And whether you realize it or not, you are already on the battlefield. The enemy does not want you to know this. He wants you blind, distracted, preoccupied with the temporary things of this world. Because the moment you wake up to the reality of this war, you become a threat. Ephesians 6:12 tells us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. This war is not against people. It is against forces of darkness, ancient entities that have worked behind the scenes for centuries, manipulating systems, controlling minds, spreading lies. They operate through fear, through deception, through carefully crafted illusions designed to keep you powerless. But the moment you recognize the battle, everything changes. You begin to see the enemy's tactics for what they are. The anxiety that tries to paralyze you, it is an attack. The depression that whispers lies into your mind, telling you that you are not enough, it is a strategy. The constant cycle of fear, failure, and doubt that seems impossible to escape, it is not random. The good news? You were never meant to fight this battle alone. God has not left you defenseless. He has given you weapons. He has given you armor. He has given you the authority to stand against the darkness and win. You were not created to live in fear. You were created to overcome. And today, right now, you take your first step onto the battlefield, not as a victim, not as someone barely surviving, but as a warrior. The war is real, but so is your victory. Chapter 2. The lies that have kept you bound for too long. You have been living under the weight of lies. Lies that have shaped your thoughts, controlled your actions, and kept you from stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. You may not have even realized it, but a war has been waged against your mind, and the enemy's greatest weapon has never been chains or prisons. It has always been deception. From the moment you were born, the enemy has whispered lies into your soul, working tirelessly to keep you bound. He has told you that you are not enough, that you are too broken, too weak, too flawed to ever be used by God. He has convinced you that your past disqualifies you, that your mistakes define you, that you will never be truly free. Over time, you started to believe it. You looked at your reflection and saw only failure. You carried shame like a weight on your back, believing it was your burden to bear. You accepted fear as part of your identity, thinking you would never escape its grip. But none of that was ever true. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't valuable. The fact that he has worked so hard to keep you bound is proof of how powerful you truly are. If you weren't a threat, he wouldn't need to silence you. If you weren't called for something greater, he wouldn't work so hard to make you doubt yourself. But now, the lies are being exposed. The Word of God tells us in John 8:44 that the devil is a liar and the father of lies. Everything he has ever spoken over you was meant to keep you from the truth. Here is the truth. You are not weak. You have been given strength beyond what you can imagine. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." You are not alone. God has never abandoned you, even in your darkest moments. Deuteronomy 31:8 promises, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." You are not a failure. Your past does not define you. 2 Corinthians 5:17 declares, "If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here." For too long, the enemy has tried to rewrite your identity. But today, that ends. Today, you take back what has been stolen. You break free from the lies. When fear tells you that you are not enough, remind yourself who your God is. When shame tries to keep you silent, declare that you are forgiven, redeemed, and set free. When doubt creeps in, hold on to the unshakable truth that you were created for more. Because the lies may have kept you bound for a season, but the truth will set you free forever. Chapter 3. Equipped for battle. You were never meant to live in fear. You were never meant to be powerless. From the moment you were called, you were equipped for battle. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that you are weak, that you are defenseless against the attacks that come against your mind, your heart, your life. He wants you to believe that you are alone in this fight, that you have no weapons, that you must simply endure the struggles and hope they pass. But that is another lie. Because the truth is this: God has given you armor. He has provided everything you need to stand firm against the forces of darkness and win. Ephesians 6:10-11 declares, "Be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." You are not stepping into this battle unarmed. You are stepping in fully equipped. Number 1. The belt of truth, the foundation of your strength. The first piece of armor is truth. The enemy is a deceiver, and his primary weapon is lies. If he can distort your perception of reality, if he can make you believe falsehoods about yourself, about your purpose, about God, then he can weaken you before the battle even begins. When you wear the belt of truth, you stand firm. God's word becomes your foundation. You recognize the lies for what they are, and you refuse to let them take root in your heart. John 8:32 says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Truth exposes deception. It brings clarity where there was confusion. It allows you to stand unshaken, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Number 2. The breastplate of righteousness, your divine protection. A soldier's breastplate protects the heart, the most vital organ. In the spiritual realm, your heart is the center of your emotions, your faith, your desires. The enemy knows that if he can corrupt your heart, filling it with fear, shame, or guilt, he can weaken your spirit. But God has given you righteousness as your defense. Not your own righteousness, but the righteousness of Christ. When you accept this, you no longer have to live in shame. You are covered, protected, secured in God's love. 2 Corinthians 5:21 declares, "God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." When anxiety whispers that you are not enough, when guilt tries to weigh you down, remember, you are already covered. Number 3, the shield of faith, your defense against attacks. Faith is not just a belief, it is a weapon. It is your shield, your defense against every fiery dart the enemy sends your way. Ephesians 6:16 tells us, "Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one." The arrows may come in the form of doubt, fear, or discouragement. The enemy will try to make you question your worth, your calling, your strength. But faith is your protection. Faith declares, "God is my refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Faith reminds you, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Every time you choose faith over fear, your shield grows stronger. Number 4, the sword of the Spirit, the weapon that strikes back. Up until now, every piece of armor has been for defense, but God has also given you a weapon, His Word. For the Word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. Hebrews 4:12. The enemy speaks lies. You counter with Scripture. The enemy tries to weaken you. You declare God's promises. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, He didn't argue with Satan. He spoke the Word of God. It is written. And with every truth He declared, He dismantled the enemy's attack. That same power is in your hands. Chapter 4. The power of prayer. Prayer is not just a ritual. It is a weapon. A divine connection between you and the Creator of the universe. A direct line to the throne of God. It is the key that unlocks power, the force that shifts atmospheres, the weapon that brings heaven's authority into your battle. For too long, the enemy has tried to convince you that prayer is weak, that it is just words whispered into the air, that it doesn't really change anything. But that is a lie. James 5:16 declares, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." When you pray, things move in the spirit realm. Chains break, strongholds crumble, the forces of darkness tremble. Every whispered prayer, every desperate cry, Every declaration of faith carries weight in the kingdom of God. The Bible is filled with stories of warriors who won battles not with swords, but with prayer. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, but his prayers shut the mouths of the beasts. Elijah called down fire from heaven and defeated the prophets of Baal with a single prayer. Paul and Silas were locked in prison, but when they prayed and worshiped, the earth shook. The prison doors flew open and their chains fell off. This is the power of prayer. When you feel weak, pray. When fear grips your heart, pray. When the battle feels impossible, pray. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Prayer is not a last resort. It is your first line of defense. You are not alone in this war. Heaven fights for you, and when you pray, you are not just speaking words. You are unleashing the full power of God against the enemy. So pray boldly. Pray without fear. Pray with authority. Because when you pray, battles are won. The enemy wanted you to stay in chains. He wanted you to live in fear, to believe the lies, to walk through life doubting your worth, your strength, and your purpose. But now you know the truth. You were never meant to live defeated. You were never meant to merely survive. You were created to overcome. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." That means you are not just fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The battle has already been won. The enemy has already been defeated. And you are standing in the power of that truth. You are equipped. You are protected. You are chosen. The war is real, but so is your authority. You have the armor of God, the sword of the Spirit, and the power of prayer on your side. There is nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has already set in motion in your life. But this isn't the end of your journey. It's only the beginning. If this message has spoken to your heart, if you feel the fire stirring within you, then take a bold step right now. Comment below, "I stand in victory." Let this be your declaration, your battle cry, your sign to the enemy that you are no longer bound by fear. And before you go, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, not just as a casual click, but as an act of faith, a sign that you are stepping fully into your calling, ready to receive everything God is about to release in this season. There is more to come, more truth, more power, more breakthrough, and you don't want to miss it. So stand tall, speak boldly, walk in faith, because you are victorious, and the enemy knows it. What if the suffering you endured wasn't random, but calculated? What if every betrayal, every humiliation, every unthinkable cruelty was not just a string of misfortunes, but a cosmic test, a trial designed to break you down before molding you into someone the world could never ignore? Here's a chilling truth. History's greatest icons, revolutionaries, inventors, visionaries, share a common thread. Their journeys did not begin in privilege or ease. No, they began in torment. Nikola Tesla was ridiculed and ostracized for his genius. Harriet Tubman was hunted like an animal, her very existence a threat to the status quo. Van Gogh died penniless, mocked, and unappreciated, only for the world to later worship the very works he created in agony. Greatness, it seems, demands a blood sacrifice, not one you willingly offer, but one imposed upon you, unjust, merciless, and, to be brutally honest, sick beyond belief. Let's not romanticize what was done to you. It wasn't poetic. It wasn't noble. It was vile. The kind of cruelty that makes you question everything. Your worth, your future, even your sanity. They tried to erase you before you even knew who you were. That's not just injustice, it's madness. And yet here you are, scarred but breathing, broken but unbowed, maybe even quietly laughing, because in their twisted attempts to destroy you, they handed you the one thing they feared most, a story that will make you unstoppable. So let's talk about it. If you've been wondering whether all the suffering means something, here's the truth. They didn't try so hard to break you for nothing. To be chosen sounds like a gift, something extraordinary, a destiny wrapped in glory and admiration. But the reality is far from glamorous. It is a path of isolation, pain, and relentless trials that few will ever understand. It is a paradox. You are set apart, yet cast aside. You are destined for greatness, yet forced to endure suffering so deep it makes you question why you were chosen at all. People see strength in you now. They admire your resilience, your ability to rise despite everything. But they don't see what it cost you. They don't see the nights you spent staring at the ceiling, hollow from exhaustion and betrayal. They don't hear the whispers of self-doubt that tried to convince you to give up. They don't feel the weight of the scars, both visible and invisible, that you carry every single day. Being chosen doesn't mean being the strongest. It means surviving when everything around you is designed to break you. It means enduring when the world gives you every reason to surrender. It is not a reward, it is a test, and it's a lonely one. Even those closest to you may not understand why your path is so much harder than theirs. They may call you unlucky, dramatic, or even cursed. They may wonder why suffering seems to follow you so relentlessly. But deep down, you know the truth. There is something different about you. Your trials are too specific, too calculated, as if the universe itself has singled you out for something far greater than the life you are living now. This is where the paradox deepens. On one hand, you feel an overwhelming sense of purpose, a pull toward something extraordinary. On the other, you are constantly being torn apart, pushed to your absolute limit, left to question if you will ever make it through. But what if this isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? What if the fire isn't meant to destroy you, but to refine you? Because here's the cruelest truth. This is all leading somewhere. The suffering, the betrayals, the endless battles, they are not random. They are shaping you, molding you into someone who cannot be ignored, someone who cannot be broken. But there's only one requirement. You have to survive long enough to see it. Not all battles leave visible scars. Some wars are waged in silence, on your mind, your spirit, and your very sense of self. And those are the deadliest ones. What was done to you wasn't just a series of unfortunate events. It was a deliberate attempt to hollow you out, to make you doubt your worth, to break you in ways that left no evidence behind. There were no weapons, no battlefields, no physical wounds to show the world. But the damage, it was real. And in many ways, it was worse. They didn't need to destroy you physically. They wanted something far more insidious, to make you believe you were already defeated, to convince you that you were small, powerless, unworthy of rising above the pain. Every betrayal, every cruel word, every manipulation was a calculated strike against your identity. And the worst part? For a time, it worked. You questioned yourself. You overanalyzed every action, wondering if maybe, just maybe, it was all your fault. You carried guilt that was never yours to bear. You tried to be better, to shrink yourself, to fit into a mold that made others more comfortable. And yet, no matter how much you bent, it was never enough. Because the truth is, it was never about you. It was about control. The cruelty of this kind of warfare is that it goes unseen by the world. No one could see the battles raging inside you. To outsiders, you looked fine. You smiled. You carried on. You did what needed to be done. And in return, people called you strong, as if that was a compliment, as if they understood the price of your survival. But here's what they didn't count on. Even in an invisible war, you were stronger than they ever knew. Because despite everything, despite the weight of what was done to you, you are still here. breathing, fighting, refusing to be erased. And that alone proves one undeniable truth: they never really won. Much of what was done to you, the betrayals, the manipulation, the cruelty, wasn't random. It was driven by something dark, something people rarely admit to: envy. Envy is a quiet sickness, one that hides behind smiles, fake encouragement, and seemingly innocent criticism. It disguises itself as concern, as advice, as harmless jokes, but beneath it all, it is a slow-burning desire to see you fail. Those who hurt you didn't do so without reason. They saw something in you, something they lacked but desperately wanted. Maybe it was your strength, your light, your ability to endure. Maybe it was your dreams, your potential, the way you refused to settle for an ordinary life. Whatever it was, it made them feel small in comparison. And instead of rising to meet their own potential, they chose the easier path, trying to destroy yours. But envy is rarely obvious. It whispers in the form of criticism. You're not good enough. It sabotages you through doubt. You'll never make it. It pretends to protect you. I just don't want you to get hurt. But none of it was ever about helping you. It was about keeping you small, keeping you from becoming the proof of what they could have been if they had dared to rise. And the most twisted part? How personal it felt. Their attacks weren't just about what you did. They were about who you are. They wanted to make you question yourself, to second-guess your abilities, to dim your light so they could feel comfortable in their own darkness. And for a while, maybe they succeeded. Maybe you did shrink yourself, silence your voice, hold back your dreams just to avoid making them uncomfortable. But here's the irony. Envy is self-destructive. While they wasted their energy trying to break you, you were forced to become stronger. While they were consumed by bitterness, you were growing, adapting, becoming someone they could never touch. They thought they were stopping you, but in reality, they were only refining you. Because the truth is, they never hated you. They hated themselves for not having what you had. And the more you rise, the more their sickness will eat away at them. But that is not your burden to carry. Your only responsibility is to keep going, to keep shining, keep rising, and prove, once and for all, that no amount of envy could ever destroy someone who was born to stand out. The universe does not hand out extraordinary roles to just anyone. Those who are destined for something greater must first be tested, broken down, stripped of everything familiar, and forced to face the deepest parts of themselves. These trials are not random. They are deliberate, designed to forge you into someone unbreakable. But let's be honest, there is nothing romantic about suffering. It is brutal, it is exhausting, and it often feels utterly unjustified. You didn't ask for this path, you didn't volunteer to be tested, and yet, time and time again, life has thrown you into the fire, demanding that you rise from the ashes with nothing but your own will to survive. This is not a punishment, it is preparation. Think of a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal must be subjected to intense heat, hammered relentlessly, and reshaped over and over again before it becomes something powerful. If the process were easy, the blade would be weak. If the fire were not hot enough, the metal would remain brittle. In the same way, the trials you endure are not meant to destroy you, but to strip away everything that is not truly you. Because here's the truth. Extraordinary strength is not given, it is earned. And the price of that strength is pain. These trials force you to confront the rawest version of yourself. Who are you when everything is taken away? What do you stand for when there is nothing left to hold on to? These are the questions the universe demands answers to before allowing you to step into the power that has always been meant for you. But the hardest part? Not everyone makes it through. Some get lost in the suffering, unable to see beyond the pain. Some give in to bitterness, resentment, or despair. The difference between those who remain trapped and those who rise is not luck. It is choice. The choice to keep going, to find meaning even in the darkest moments, to believe that there is something waiting on the other side of the fire. And if you are still standing, still fighting, then you are proving yourself worthy. Not to anyone else, but to yourself. Because one day, when the weight of these trials finally makes sense, you will see that every hardship, every heartbreak, every battle was shaping you for something greater than you could have ever imagined. One of the most insidious ways the world tries to keep you small is by making you doubt your own power. It starts early, often from those closest to you: family, friends, teachers, people who should encourage you, but instead make you question your potential. They tell you to be humble, to be realistic, to not aim too high. But their warnings aren't about protecting you. They are about controlling you. The world does not like those who cannot be controlled. It rewards conformity, praises those who fit neatly into the system, and punishes anyone who dares to rise above it. The moment you begin to shine too brightly, the moment you start to believe in yourself, the system moves swiftly to put you back in your place. You are told that you are arrogant for dreaming big, difficult for refusing to settle, delusional for believing you are meant for something greater. And the most dangerous part? Over time, you start to believe it. This is how they gaslight your greatness. They convince you that your dreams are impossible, not because they are, but because the idea of you achieving them threatens their entire worldview. If you succeed, then what excuse do they have for not trying? If you break free, then what does that say about those who chose to remain in their cages? Rather than face those uncomfortable truths, they make you doubt yourself. And it works, until you finally see through the lie. Because here's the truth: the world does not gaslight what isn't a threat. If you were truly insignificant, they wouldn't work so hard to convince you that you are. If your potential didn't matter, they wouldn't feel the need to suppress it. The very fact that they try to make you doubt yourself is proof of how powerful you really are. And the moment you recognize this, the moment you stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, is the moment you become unstoppable. So the question is, will you continue to believe the lies they've told you? Or will you finally embrace the power they've been trying so hard to make you forget? What you endured wasn't just cruelty. It was an attack on your very humanity. It wasn't enough for them to hurt you. They wanted to make you feel less than human. They wanted to strip away your dignity, your identity, your very sense of self. This wasn't just about pain. It was about erasure. Dehumanization doesn't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it's in the way they dismissed your pain, treated your suffering as insignificant, made you feel invisible. It's in the way they acted as if your voice didn't matter, as if your feelings were an inconvenience. It's in the way they conditioned you to believe that you deserved less, that you weren't worthy of love, respect, or even basic kindness. Over time, this treatment seeps into your mind. You start to see yourself the way they wanted you to: small, powerless, unworthy. You begin to question your own worth, wondering if maybe they were right. That is the sickness of dehumanization. It is not just about making you suffer. It is about making you believe you deserve to suffer. But here's what they never understood. Dehumanization only works if you let it. They could take away your comfort, your security, even your hope for a time. But they could never fully erase what makes you you. Because no matter how much they tried to break you, there was always a part of you that refused to be destroyed. Rising from this kind of darkness is not easy. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but every step you take toward reclaiming your humanity is an act of defiance. It is proof that even the worst attempts to destroy someone can fail. They tried to erase you, but you are still here. And that is more powerful than anything they could have ever imagined. The people who tried to break you never expected you to rise. They threw everything at you. manipulation, cruelty, isolation, believing it would be enough to shatter you. And for a time, maybe it worked. Maybe you fell. Maybe you doubted yourself. Maybe you even thought about giving up. But then, against all odds, you got back up. And that is what terrifies them the most. They can't understand how you're still standing, still fighting, still moving forward when they would have crumbled under the same weight. Your resilience exposes something they don't want to face, their own weakness. They needed to break you because deep down, they knew they could never endure what you have. And now, as they watch you rise, they are left with only one emotion: fear. Because your very existence proves them wrong. You were never weak. You were never meant to stay broken. And no matter how much they wanted to write your ending, they failed. You are still here. And that is your greatest victory. Thank you for being part of this journey. If these words resonated with you, if you feel the strength that has always been within you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here we rise together. Here we turn pain into power. Let's keep going, because the world hasn't seen the best of you yet.